Welcome to Lotus Whisper, Zen Tales for Sleep. Tonight, we explore a simple yet profound truth, that within you there is stillness and sanctuary. In a world filled with constant noise, endless demands, and the hurried pace of life, we often search for peace in distant places, in future moments, or in the approval of others. But the great masters and quiet sages have always reminded us that the most profound refuge is not somewhere out there, but deep within our own being. It is a quiet, untouched space that is always available, waiting patiently for our return. This evening, we will gently turn our attention inward, leaving the world outside for a little while, and begin a journey back to that silent, peaceful home that resides within you. Please subscribe to the channel to hear more stories like this. The restless mind in a noisy world. The day has drawn to a close. The sun has painted its final, gentle colors across the sky, and the world outside your window has begun to quiet its voice. The sounds of traffic, of work, of conversation have faded into a low and distant hum. This is the time for rest, the time when the body can finally release its burdens and the mind can be allowed to soften into stillness. And yet, as you settle into the quiet of your room, you may notice that another kind of noise begins. A noise not from the world outside, but from the world within. It is the sound of the mind, which does not always grow quiet simply because the sun has set. For many of us, the mind is like a vast and bustling marketplace, one that never truly closes. As you lie here, perhaps you can feel it. The day's events are replayed on a brightly lit stage. Conversations are examined, words are weighed, and different endings are imagined. The merchants of memory call out to you, holding up moments from your past. Some are sweet and warm, like ripe fruit, but others are bruised or bitter, and they are offered to you again and again. In one corner of this inner marketplace, a stall is piled high with worries about tomorrow. The merchant here is anxious and speaks quickly, listing all the tasks that must be done, all the challenges that might arise, all the ways things could go wrong. Each worry is a heavy stone, and he tries to place them in your hands, insisting you carry them with you into the night. You can feel their weight, the pressure of a future that has not yet arrived, but already feels so demanding. The lists of things to do, the emails to answer, the problems to solve, they clamor for your attention, pulling at the edges of your awareness, refusing to let you rest. Nearby, another vendor sells regrets about yesterday. This one speaks in whispers, reminding you of a mistake you made, a kindness you forgot to show, a path you did not take. The whispers are persistent, like the rustling of dry leaves, and they can stir up feelings of sadness or frustration. This stall is dimly lit, filled with shadows and what-ifs, and it is easy to get lost there, wandering through the aisles of a past that cannot be changed. The mind replays a scene over and over, as if by watching it one more time, the outcome might be different. But it never is. The scene only becomes more worn, more familiar in its ache. And then there are the sounds of the crowd itself. The constant, overlapping chatter of countless small thoughts. A fragment of a song you heard this afternoon. The face of a stranger you passed on the street. A sudden, unexplained feeling of unease. A fleeting desire for something you do not have. These thoughts are like the countless people milling about in the marketplace, jostling you, bumping into you, each one demanding a small piece of your attention. There is no clear path through this crowd. You try to move toward a quiet corner, toward the gate that leads to sleep, but you are constantly diverted, pulled this way and that by the sheer momentum of the throng. The air in this marketplace is thick with judgment. The sound of a harsh critic, who sounds very much like your own voice, follows you from stall to stall. It points out your flaws, compares you to others, and tells you that you are not enough. It is a relentless voice, one that seems to know all your deepest fears and insecurities. It measures your worth by your accomplishments, by your productivity, by the things you own or the things you lack. In the noise of this marketplace, It is difficult to hear the softer, kinder voice that also resides within you. The voice of acceptance, of compassion, is drowned out by the shouting and the haggling. This inner world can feel so real, so solid. The worries feel like urgent duties. The regrets feel like heavy chains. The constant chatter feels like an undeniable reality. And so we engage with it. We begin to haggle with the merchant of tomorrow, trying to bargain for a less stressful future. We argue with the vendor of yesterday, trying to defend our past actions. We try to silence the inner critic, which only seems to make it shout louder. We become lost in the noise, believing that this marketplace is all that we are. We forget that we are not the marketplace itself, but the one who is walking through it. We forget that there is a quiet space beyond the noise, a sanctuary that is always present, even when it is obscured by the chaos. This restless energy of the mind can also be felt as a great, stormy sea. As you lie here, you might feel as though you are in a small boat, tossed upon its waves. The surface of the water is rarely calm. Thoughts and feelings are the waves, rising and falling in an endless, unpredictable rhythm. Some are just small, choppy ripples on the surface, fleeting thoughts, minor irritations, passing sensations. They rock the boat gently, a constant, low-level disturbance. You can feel this now, the subtle restlessness that keeps your body from fully letting go, the slight tension in your shoulders or your jaw. But then, larger swells begin to form. These are the deeper currents of emotion. A wave of sadness that seems to come from nowhere, a surge of anger from a memory of the day, or a powerful undertow of anxiety about the future. These waves can lift your small boat high into the air, filling you with a sense of panic and instability before dropping you suddenly into a deep trough, leaving you feeling empty and exhausted. You are at the mercy of this sea. You grip the sides of the boat, trying to steer, trying to find a safe harbor. But the waves are too powerful. They push and pull you in directions you do not wish to go. Sometimes a full storm descends. The sky of the mind grows dark with heavy, brooding clouds of thought. The wind begins to howl. It is the voice of fear, of self-doubt, of despair. It whips the surface of the sea into a frenzy. The waves grow immense, crashing over the sides of your boat, drenching you in cold spray. In these moments, it is impossible to see the horizon. There is only the tumultuous water, the dark sky, and the roaring wind. It feels as though the storm will last forever, that you will be capsized, lost in the churning chaos. This storm is made of your own thoughts and emotions, yet it feels like an external force, something happening to you. A difficult conversation becomes a hurricane. A looming deadline becomes a monstrous wave threatening to pull you under. A sense of loneliness becomes a vast, cold, and empty ocean stretching out in all directions. In the midst of such a storm, the body tenses. The heart beats faster, the breath becomes shallow and quick. The body believes the danger is real, and it prepares to fight or to flee, even though the storm is contained entirely within the mind. We spend so much of our energy trying to control this sea. We try to calm the waves, to push them down, to build barriers against them. We paddle furiously against the current, trying to reach a distant shore where we believe the water will be calm. But the struggle itself creates more turbulence. The more we fight the waves, the more exhausted we become, and the more powerless we feel. We believe that peace can only be found when the sea is perfectly flat, when the wind is silent, and when the sky is clear. We wait for this perfect weather, not realizing that it may never come, or that its arrival is not something we can control. But there is a profound secret that the sea holds. While the surface is in constant motion, churned by the winds of thought and emotion, the depths of the ocean are always still. Far below the crashing waves and the raging storms, there is a place of profound silence and calm. The great pressures of the deep hold the water in a state of perfect, heavy tranquility. No storm on the surface, no matter how violent, can disturb this deep, abiding peace. And so it is with your mind. The surface may be a chaotic marketplace or a stormy sea. That is the part of the mind we are most familiar with, the part that we experience most of the time. It is the part that feels so overwhelming tonight. But that is not all of who you are. Beneath the surface of thoughts, beneath the waves of emotion, there is a depth within you that is untouched by the turmoil. There is a silent, aware presence that is simply witnessing the storm. It is the vast, still water in the depths of your own consciousness. You do not need to silence the marketplace. You do not need to calm the sea. The path to peace does not begin with a struggle. It begins with a simple, gentle shift in attention. It begins with the realization that you are not the noise. You are not the waves. You are the deep, quiet space in which the noise and the waves are happening. Allow yourself to feel the truth of this for a moment. Feel the restlessness in your mind, the thoughts that pull you in a dozen different directions. Acknowledge them. See the merchants in their stalls, hear their voices. There is no need to push them away. See the waves on the water, feel their motion, their power. There is no need to fight them. Simply notice that they are there. This noticing is the first step toward finding the sanctuary within. You are not trying to fix anything or solve anything. You are simply becoming aware of what is already happening. You are observing the activity of your own mind without getting swept away by it. Imagine you are standing on a hill overlooking the marketplace. You can see all the activity, hear all the noise, but you are at a slight distance. You are not caught in the crowd. Or imagine you are the deep, still ocean, feeling the storm rage far, far above on the surface. The turmoil is there, but it is not you. It is a temporary weather pattern passing through the vastness of your being. It is all right that your mind is busy tonight. It is the nature of the mind to think, just as it is the nature of the heart to beat. There is nothing wrong with you for having a restless mind. It is a shared human experience. In this moment, you can give yourself permission to stop struggling with it. You can let the thoughts be there, let the feelings be there. You do not have to believe them. You do not have to follow them. You do not have to push them away. You can simply let them be, like clouds passing in the sky or sounds echoing through a valley. The merchants in the marketplace will eventually grow tired if you do not buy their wares. The waves of the sea will eventually subside if you do not feed the storm with your resistance. Peace is not found by creating a new, quiet reality, but by discovering the quiet that is already here, hidden beneath the noise. As you continue to rest, feel the solidness of the bed beneath you. It is holding you, supporting you completely. It is like the firm ground beneath the chaotic marketplace or the silent depths beneath the stormy sea. It is real. It is present. Let your body feel this support. Let it begin to trust in this stillness. The journey into sleep is a journey from the surface to the depths. It is a journey of letting go of the noise and sinking into the quiet that is your true nature. The thoughts will continue to arise for a while. That is their habit. The worries about tomorrow, the regrets about yesterday. Let them come and let them go. They are just visitors passing through. They are not who you are. You are the host, the quiet, spacious house in which they appear. And this house, this inner sanctuary, is vast enough to hold all the noise, all the storms, without being disturbed. It is a place of profound peace, and it is always, always here, waiting for you to come home. In this gentle recognition, a small space begins to open, a quietness at the edge of the noise, and in that space, the first step toward true rest can be taken. Let us linger in that small space for a moment longer, this quietness at the edge of the noise. It is like finding a hidden courtyard just off the main square of the bustling marketplace. The sounds of the crowd are still audible, but they are muffled, their urgency diminished by the stone walls of this quiet place. From here, you can continue to observe the market without being swept away. Look more closely at the other merchants who vie for your attention. There is one who sells images of other people's lives, polished and perfect. He holds them up for you to see, and a feeling of comparison, a subtle ache of not being enough, can arise. His whispers are insidious, suggesting that your path is less significant, your accomplishments smaller, your life less vibrant than those you see. His stall is filled with illusions, with carefully curated moments that do not show the whole truth of anyone's life. Yet the mind is often tempted to buy what he is selling. Not far from him is the planner, the architect of the future. This merchant is not as overtly anxious as the warrior, but is perhaps even more relentless. He unrolls endless blueprints of the days, weeks, and months to come. He demands that you organize, strategize, and optimize every moment. His energy is one of constant, low-level striving. He convinces you that rest is a luxury that can only be afforded once every single detail of the future is perfectly arranged. And so, even as your body lies still, the mind is busy building, arranging, and preparing for a tomorrow that will never arrive in the perfect form that is being planned. The mind is constructing a fortress of control, believing that if it can just think through every possibility, it can prevent all pain and secure all happiness. It is a tireless and ultimately impossible task. And this inner noise is not just a story told in the theatre of the mind, it is a script that the body follows without question. Each thought, each worry, each regret sends a subtle signal through your nerves and into your muscles. The anxious merchant of tomorrow sends a current of energy that tightens the shoulders if you are physically bracing for a coming blow. The whispering vendor of yesterday's regrets can create a heaviness in the chest, a shallow breath, as if you are carrying a physical weight upon your heart. The voice of the inner critic may cause you to clench your jaw, a silent, unconscious act of self-restraint or frustration. The relentless planner can fill your limbs with a restless, buzzing energy, making it feel impossible for your body to truly settle and be still. The body becomes the marketplace. It becomes the stormy sea. It holds the tension of the unresolved past and the anticipated future, forgetting that its only true home is the present moment. It forgets the simple, profound peace of just being. But let us leave the surface now. Let us leave the marketplace with its clamoring voices and the choppy waves of the sea. Allow your awareness to drift downward, deeper and deeper, far below the noise and the turmoil. Imagine yourself sinking gently into the vast, dark, and silent depths of the ocean. Down here, the water is perfectly still. The pressure is immense, but it is a comforting, holding pressure, like a universal embrace. The light from the surface world does not penetrate this far. It is a darkness that is not empty, but full of peace. It is a silence that is not vacant, but resonant with a deep, humming stillness. The frantic energy of the waves far above is a distant memory, a faint and unimportant vibration that cannot disturb the profound tranquility of the deep. This is the sanctuary within you. It is not a place you have to build, it is a place that has always been here. It is your fundamental nature. It is the vast, silent awareness that was present before the first thought of the day and will be present after the last. It is unmoved, unchanged, and utterly at peace. The storms on the surface are temporary weather. The depths of the ocean are eternal. You are not the storm, you are the ocean. And as you rest here in this recognition, you can feel the first true release, the first true letting go. You are simply allowing yourself to sink back into the peace that you already are. Part 2. The first gate, the anchor of the breath. You have found yourself in the deep, quiet waters of your own being, a place of profound stillness, far beneath the surface storms. This recognition, this feeling of the deep ocean, is a beautiful and comforting truth. And yet, the habits of the mind are strong. The currents of thought are persistent. Even from these depths, you can feel the faint pull of the surface world. A thought, like a baited hook, is lowered from the boat of the ego, trying to lure you back up into the waves of worry and planning. The mind asks, "But how do I stay here? How do I hold on to this peace?" The very question creates a ripple, a small disturbance in the calm. The effort to remain peaceful can, itself, become a source of tension. And so, we need a guide. We need a gentle and reliable friend to show us the way back to the depths whenever we find ourselves lost in the storm. We need something to hold on to, not with a tight and anxious grip, but with a light and trusting touch. We need an anchor. This anchor is not something you must search for, not something you must build or acquire. It has been with you since the moment you were born, and it will remain with you until your very last moment. It is the simple, humble, and miraculous rhythm of your own breath. This is the first gate to the sanctuary within. It is not a grand, ornate gate that demands a password or a key. It is a simple, rustic gate, woven from the very air you breathe. It is always unlocked. It is always waiting. To pass through it, all that is required is your gentle attention. So now, without any effort to change anything at all, simply allow your awareness to come to rest on the feeling of your breathing. You do not need to breathe in any special way. The body knows how to breathe perfectly well on its own. It has been breathing for you your entire life, through moments of great joy and moments of deep sorrow, through busy days and quiet nights. Your only task now is to become a curious and friendly observer of this constant, faithful companion. Perhaps you first notice the breath as a gentle rising and falling of your abdomen. As you breathe in, the belly softly expands, like a balloon gently inflating. As you breathe out, it just as softly deflates, releasing back toward the spine. Feel this simple, wave-like motion. A gentle rise on the in-breath, a gentle fall on the out-breath. There is a rhythm here, a cadence that is uniquely yours in this moment. It is the rhythm of life itself, playing out within your own body. Let your awareness ride these gentle waves, rising with the inhale, falling with the exhale. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve. Simply feel this movement. Or perhaps your attention is drawn more to your chest. Feel the subtle expansion of your ribcage as your lungs fill with air. The ribs move up and out, creating space. And on the exhale, they settle back down, a soft release. It is a movement of opening and closing, of receiving and letting go. With each in-breath, you receive the gift of the air, the gift of this present moment. With each out-breath, you let go of what is no longer needed. You let go of the stale air, and with it, you can imagine letting go of any tension you might be holding. Each breath is a small lesson in generosity and release. You might even bring your awareness to the very tip of your nostrils, to the place where the air first enters your body. This is a place of great subtlety. As you breathe in, you may be able to feel the slight coolness of the air as it passes over the sensitive skin just inside your nose. It is a fresh, clean feeling. And as you breathe out, you may notice that the air is slightly warmer, having been heated by the warmth of your own body. Cool air coming in, warm air going out. This simple sensation is an anchor point, a place for your mind to rest. When the great storms of thought threaten to sweep you away, you can always return to this simple, physical feeling. The coolness of the in-breath, the warmth of the out-breath. It is so simple, and yet so profound. It is happening right now, in this moment. It is real. Let us return to the image of your boat on the sea. The breath is your anchor. When you rest your attention on the physical sensations of breathing, you are gently lowering this anchor into the calm waters of the present moment. The storms may still be raging on the surface, the winds of worry may still howl, the waves of emotion may still crash and swell, but the anchor holds you. It does not stop the storm, it simply keeps you from being swept away by it. It provides a point of stability in the midst of chaos. And what happens when the mind wanders? Because it will. This is the nature of the mind. A thought will arise, a memory, a plan, a sound from outside. It will catch your attention, and like a strong current, it will begin to pull your boat away from its anchor. You might find yourself suddenly lost in a detailed plan for tomorrow, or replaying a conversation from yesterday. You might be halfway across the ocean before you even realize you have drifted. The moment you realize this, the moment you notice, "Ah, my mind has wandered." This is a moment of pure mindfulness. It is a moment of gentle awakening. In that moment, there is no need for judgment or frustration. There is no need to scold yourself for drifting. That would be like blaming the boat for being moved by the currents. It is what boats do. It is what minds do. The practice is not to never drift. The practice is to notice when you have drifted, and then, with kindness and patience, to gently guide your attention back. Imagine the breath is the rope that connects your boat to the anchor. When you notice you have drifted, you simply pick up the rope and give it a gentle pull. You feel for the sensation of the breath once more. Perhaps you return to the rising and falling of your abdomen. Perhaps you return to the coolness of the air in your nostrils. You simply reconnect with that physical sensation, and in doing so, you have returned to your anchor. You are home again, in the safety of the present moment. This process will repeat itself again and again. You will rest your attention on the breath. The mind will wander. You will notice. You will gently return. This is the rhythm of meditation. It is a dance between attention and distraction, and each time you return, you are strengthening the muscle of mindfulness. You are deepening the groove of peace within your own mind. You are not failing when your mind wanders. You are succeeding every single time you gently bring it back. Each return is a victory of peace over turmoil, of presence over distraction. As you continue to rest with your breath, you may begin to notice its more subtle qualities. Notice the very beginning of an in-breath. Where does it start? There is a moment of stillness, and then a gentle impulse to draw air in. And notice the very end of the in-breath, just before the exhale begins. There is a brief pause, a moment of fullness and quiet. The body is filled, nourished. And then the gentle release of the out-breath begins. Follow it all the way to its end. And at the very bottom of the exhale, there is another pause. A moment of emptiness, of release, of letting go, before the next in-breath naturally arises. These pauses are like small pools of deep silence. They are moments between the waves. In these moments, you can touch the profound stillness that lies beneath all activity. The world seems to stop for a fraction of a second. As your body relaxes more and more deeply, these pauses may naturally lengthen, becoming deeper and more peaceful. You are entering the sanctuary, not by force, but by following the gentle, natural rhythm of your own life force. The breath is the most honest thing in the world. It cannot be in the past, it cannot be in the future. It is always and only now. When you are paying attention to your breath, you are fully present in your life. You are not lost in regrets about a past that is gone forever. You are not lost in anxieties about a future that does not yet exist. You are here. You are now. You are simply breathing. And in this simple, present moment awareness, there is no room for anxiety. Worry cannot survive in the pure air of the now. Allow the sound of your breath to become a soothing lullaby, It may be almost silent, or you may hear a soft, gentle whisper in the back of your throat. It is the sound of the ocean, the sound of the wind in the trees. It is the most ancient and comforting sound you will ever know. It is the sound of your own life, sustaining you, calming you. Let this sound wash over you, cleansing your mind of its chatter, soothing your body into a state of deep relaxation. With each exhale, feel a wave of relaxation spreading through your body. Imagine the out-breath carrying away the tension from your jaw, your neck, your shoulders. Feel your shoulders sinking down, away from your ears, releasing the burdens of the day. Feel your arms and hands becoming heavy and warm. Feel the muscles in your back softening, letting go, allowing the bed to fully support you. Feel the relaxation moving down into your legs, all the way to the tips of your toes. The breath is a gentle broom, sweeping away the dust of the day, leaving your body feeling clean, clear, and calm. This simple act of returning to the breath is an act of profound self-compassion. You are telling yourself that it is okay to rest. It is okay to let go of the struggle. It is okay to be here, just as you are, with your thoughts, your feelings, and your breath. You are not trying to become a different person. You are not trying to achieve a perfect state of mind. You are simply coming home to yourself, one breath at a time. The marketplace of the mind may still be open in the distance. You may still hear the faint calls of the merchants of worry and regret. But you are no longer in the crowd. You are sitting quietly at the first gate, your hand resting on the steady anchor of your breath. You are safe. You are held. The noise is just noise. The storm is just weather. It cannot harm you here. Here, in the simple, sacred space of a single breath, there is only peace. Allow this peace to deepen, to grow, to fill your entire being as you continue to follow the gentle, rhythmic tide of your breath, letting it carry you effortlessly toward the quiet shores of sleep. Let us stay with this anchor a while longer, exploring its deeper qualities. The breath is not merely a mechanical process of air moving in and out of the lungs. It is a bridge. It is the sacred meeting point between your conscious mind and the vast, unconscious wisdom of your body. It connects the inner world of thought and feeling with the outer world of sensation and form. When your mind is lost in abstract worries about a future meeting or a past conversation, the breath gently calls it back to the undeniable reality of your physical existence. It says, "Come back, be here, feel this body, this life that is yours in this moment." It is a grounding force, pulling the scattered energy of the mind out of the clouds of abstraction and planting it firmly in the rich soil of the present. Think of the breath as a wise and ancient teacher, one who speaks not in words, but in rhythm and sensation. What is it teaching you in this moment? Perhaps your breath is shallow and quick, a reflection of a mind that is still agitated, a body that is still holding on to the day's anxieties. If so, there is no need to force it to be deeper. The first lesson of the teacher is acceptance. Simply notice, the breath is shallow now. This noticing, without judgment, is itself a calming influence. By observing the breath with gentle kindness, you create a space of safety, and the breath, feeling this safety, may naturally begin to deepen on its own. It is like speaking to a frightened animal in a soft, soothing voice. You do not command it to be calm. You create the conditions in which it can discover its own calm. Or perhaps you notice that you are unconsciously holding your breath, especially when a difficult thought or memory arises. This is a common pattern, a physical bracing against emotional discomfort. The breath stops, the body tenses, as if to prevent the feeling from moving through you. When you notice this holding, the lesson is to let go. The exhale is the great teacher of release. As you consciously allow the out-breath to flow, You give the body permission to soften. You signal to your nervous system that the danger is not real, that it is safe to relax. With each full and gentle exhale, you can release a little more of that stored tension, a little more of that emotional armor. You are learning to flow with your feelings rather than fighting against them. The breath also teaches us about the nature of impermanence. Each breath is born, it lives for a moment, and then it passes away. A new breath arises, lives its short life, and it too dissolves. No two breaths are ever exactly the same. Each one is a unique event in the universe. By watching this endless stream of arising and passing, you are witnessing the fundamental truth of existence. Everything changes. The anxious thought that feels so solid and permanent right now is just like a single breath. It will arise, it will be present for a time, and it will pass away, if you allow it to. The deep sadness that feels as though it will last forever is also like a breath. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. By staying with the anchor of the breath, you learn not to cling to pleasant experiences and not to resist unpleasant ones, because you understand, in a deep, cellular way, that they are all temporary. This understanding is the root of profound peace. It allows you to rest in the flow of life rather than constantly struggling against its current. As you continue to follow the breath, you might also sense its connection to all of life. The air you are drawing in has traveled across oceans and continents. It has been inside the leaves of ancient trees and the lungs of countless other beings. The carbon dioxide you exhale will, in turn, be taken in by a plant, perhaps a flower growing in a garden nearby, and transformed back into the oxygen that sustains life. In this simple, unconscious act, you are participating in a vast, global exchange. You are intimately connected to the entire web of existence. The feeling of being a separate, isolated self begins to soften. The boundaries dissolve. You are breathing with the world, and the world is breathing with you. This sense of connection can be a powerful antidote to loneliness and alienation. You are not just a small boat tossed on a lonely sea, you are a part of the ocean itself. Let the breath guide you even deeper into the sanctuary of your body. Follow the path of the air, not just into your lungs, but imagine it flowing through your entire being. Imagine the in-breath as a wave of gentle, healing energy, washing down from your head to your toes. Imagine it bringing a sense of calm and vitality to every cell. And imagine the out-breath as a wave of release, carrying away fatigue, stress, and any lingering negativity. Your body becomes a shoreline, and the breath is the gentle tide, rhythmically cleansing and renewing you. In and out, receiving and releasing, ebb and flow. This is the rhythm of the universe, and it is happening within you. There is no need to strive for relaxation. By simply aligning your awareness with this natural rhythm, relaxation happens all by itself. It is a surrender, a letting go into the wisdom of your own body, guided by the gentle, faithful, and ever-present anchor of your breath. Part 3. Observing the clouds of thought. You are resting with the breath. This gentle, rhythmic anchor holds you steady in the present moment, a safe harbor from the restless sea of the mind. And yet, even in this harbor, you can still see the weather changing in the sky above. The winds of thought have not ceased. A memory drifts by, a fragment of a plan appears on the horizon, a feeling of unease gathers like a low-lying mist. The mind's nature is to produce thoughts, just as the sky's nature is to produce clouds. We have learned not to be swept away by the waves, but now we must learn to be at peace with the sky. We must learn to see our thoughts not as absolute truths that define us, but as transient weather patterns passing through the vast, open space of our awareness. Imagine now that your mind, your consciousness, is not the boat but the sky itself. A vast, limitless expanse of brilliant, clear blue. It is boundless, stretching in all directions beyond what the eye can see. This sky is your true nature. It is inherently peaceful, open, and serene. It is the silent, aware presence that is reading these words and feeling your body rest. Nothing can harm this sky. Nothing can stain it. It was here before the first cloud formed, and it will be here after the last cloud has dissolved. Take a moment to feel this sense of inner spaciousness. Feel the quiet, boundless awareness that is you. This is your home. And into this vast, peaceful sky, a thought appears. Let us see it for what it is, a cloud. At first, perhaps a small, wispy cloud drifts into view. It is a simple thought, a fleeting image from your day, the name of a street you passed, the color of a flower you saw. It is light and transparent. It has no great emotional charge. It simply floats there for a moment. And then, carried by the gentle breeze of time, it drifts on and dissolves back into the blue from which it came. You can watch these little clouds come and go without any effort. They are harmless, like faint brushstrokes of white against the infinite blue. You simply notice them. Ah, a thought about lunch. And then you let it go. You remain as the sky, watching. Then, perhaps a larger cloud appears. A big, puffy, white cloud, the kind you might see on a summer day. This cloud has more substance. It has a shape, a story. This is a daydream, a fantasy, or a detailed plan for the weekend. It is often a pleasant cloud, and the mind is tempted to follow it. The habit is to climb aboard this cloud and ride it across the sky, getting lost in its intricate story, forgetting that you are the sky itself. You might start planning a trip, imagining every detail, feeling the excitement, and for a few minutes you are no longer resting here in your bed. You are in that story. The practice is to notice this. The moment you realize you are lost in the story, you have already woken up. With the same gentleness you used to return to the breath, you now return to being the sky. You see the big, puffy cloud of your plan or daydream, and you let it float on without you. You do not need to shoot it down or force it to disappear. You simply withdraw your energy from it. You acknowledge it. Ah, planning. And then you let it drift. You watch it slowly move across the vast expanse of your awareness until it, too, loses its shape and dissolves. You remain. The sky remains. Unchanged. Peaceful. The real challenge comes when the weather changes, when the dark clouds begin to gather on the horizon. These are the storm clouds of the mind. They are your worries, your fears, your anger, your sadness, your regrets. They are heavy, dark, and full of turbulent energy. When a storm cloud of worry appears, it can seem to fill the entire sky. It blocks the sun of your inner peace. The blue expanse seems to disappear completely. All you can see is the churning grey of anxiety. Let's say a thought arises about a problem at work. What if I fail the presentation tomorrow? Everyone will think I am incompetent. This is a dark storm cloud. It carries with it the cold rain of fear and the sharp lightning of self-judgment. The old habit is to become the storm. You enter the cloud. You are tossed about by its violent winds. You are drenched in its cold rain. You believe everything the storm is telling you. You believe that you are the anxiety. You believe that the fear is an absolute truth about the future. But the new practice, the path to peace, is to remember that you are the sky. Even when a great storm is raging, the sky is still there, vast and untouched, holding the storm within its embrace. The sky is not afraid of the storm. The sky does not fight the storm or try to push it away. It simply allows the storm to be there, knowing that it is a temporary event. It knows that all storms, no matter how powerful, eventually pass. So, As this dark cloud of worry fills your awareness, your practice is to witness it. Do not dive into it. Do not resist it. Simply observe it. Notice its qualities. What does this worry feel like in your body? A tightness in your chest? A knot in your stomach? Notice the thoughts that are swirling within it, the what-if scenarios, the catastrophic predictions. See them as flashes of lightning within the cloud. Hear the voice of fear as the howling of the wind. You can use a gentle mental label to help you maintain your distance. As the thoughts of failure arise, you can softly say to yourself, worrying. This is a worrying thought. Or simply, thinking. This label is not a judgment. It is a simple act of recognition. It is like a meteorologist identifying a type of cloud. That is a thunderhead. By naming it, you separate yourself from it. You are not the storm, you are the one who is observing the storm. This creates a small but crucial space between you and the thought, and in that space, peace can be found. The storm will try to pull you in. That is its nature. It will send down torrents of emotion. It will flash powerful images of failure in your mind's eye. It will feel incredibly real and urgent. In these moments, your anchor is still here. You can always return your attention to the simple, physical sensation of your breath. The breath is happening now. The storm is a story about the future. By returning to the breath, you return to reality. You return to the safety of the present moment. You can feel the breath flowing in and out, a steady rhythm beneath the chaos of the storm. Each breath is a reminder, I am the sky. The storm is just weather. It will pass. And it will pass. No thought has ever lasted forever. No feeling has ever been permanent. If you can allow the storm cloud to be there without feeding it with your belief and your resistance, it will eventually exhaust its energy. It will rain itself out. The winds will die down. And then you will begin to see patches of blue sky appearing again. The storm cloud will begin to break apart, to thin out, and to drift away. And you will see that the sky, your true nature, was there all along, unharmed, clear and peaceful. It was just temporarily obscured. This practice transforms your relationship with your own mind. You begin to see that thoughts are not commands. They are suggestions. They are proposals from a mind that is simply trying to keep you safe, often by imagining the worst. You do not have to accept every proposal. You can learn to sit on the shore of your mind and watch the river of thoughts flow by, without having to jump into every boat that passes. Some boats are beautiful, filled with pleasant memories. Others are frightening, filled with your deepest fears. But they are all just boats on the river. You can let them pass. You are the silent, watchful presence on the shore. As you lie here, continue this practice. Rest as the vast, open sky of awareness. When a thought cloud appears, simply notice it. Notice its shape, its color, its texture. Is it light and wispy? Is it a big, puffy daydream? Is it a dark and heavy storm? There is no need to judge it as good or bad. It is just a cloud. Let it float into your awareness. Let it be there for a moment, and then watch as it floats on, dissolving back into the vastness. You may begin to notice something remarkable. You may begin to notice the space between the clouds. For a second, or maybe two, the sky is completely clear. There are no thoughts. There is only silence. There is only pure, peaceful awareness. These moments are glimpses of your true sanctuary. At first, they may be very brief, but as you continue to practice letting the clouds pass, these moments of clear sky will naturally begin to lengthen. This is not something you can force. It happens on its own, as you learn to stop chasing after and running away from your thoughts. In these gaps of silence, deep rest occurs. The nervous system settles. The body releases its deepest tensions. This is the profound quiet that your entire being has been longing for. It is the stillness of the deep ocean. It is the silence of the empty sky. Be patient and kind with yourself. There will be nights when the sky is full of storms, and you will get lost in them again and again. That is perfectly okay. The practice is not about achieving a permanently clear sky. The practice is about changing your relationship to the clouds. It is about realizing that you are the sky, and you are already whole, already peaceful, regardless of the weather. Every time you remember this, every time you gently return to observing, you are deepening your connection to the peace that is your birthright. So, let the clouds of this day drift by. The conversations, the tasks, the worries, the joys. See them all as clouds, floating through the vast, quiet sky of your mind. They are not you. They are just visitors. Let them come and let them go. You remain. You are the stillness, the silence, the peace. And in this peaceful, spacious awareness, you can allow your body and mind to drift effortlessly, like a single, soft cloud, into the boundless, clear sky of deep and restful sleep. Let us look more closely at the different kinds of clouds that populate the sky of the mind, for in understanding their nature, we can more easily let them pass. Some clouds are sticky. They are coated in the residue of strong emotion or deep-seated belief, and they seem to cling to the sky, refusing to drift away. A cloud of resentment, for example, can linger for a very long time. It replays an old hurt, a past injustice over and over. Each time the story is replayed, the cloud gathers more energy, growing darker and heavier. It feels justified in its presence. The mind says, "I have a right to feel this way. What happened was wrong." And so it holds on to the cloud, believing that letting it go would somehow condone the past event. But to hold on to a cloud of resentment is like holding a hot coal in your hand, intending to throw it at someone else. You are the one who gets burned. The sky does not need the cloud. The sky is not made more just or righteous by holding on to a storm. Its nature is clarity and peace. When you notice a sticky cloud like this, the practice is one of profound gentleness. You acknowledge the pain it represents. This is the memory of being hurt. You feel the emotion in your body without judgment. And then you can ask a quiet question. Is holding on to this cloud serving me now as I try to find rest? The answer, in the quiet of the night, is almost always no. You are not denying the past. You are simply choosing not to carry its heavy weather with you into the sanctuary of sleep. You gently loosen your grip, and you allow the breeze of your intention for peace to slowly, patiently, begin to carry the cloud away. It may not disappear all at once, but with each gentle release, it becomes a little lighter, a little more transparent. Then there are the clouds of self-criticism. These are often dark, jagged clouds that appear suddenly, casting a harsh shadow over everything. They whisper insidious things. You're not good enough. You made a fool of yourself today. You'll never achieve your goals. These clouds are particularly convincing because they speak with your own voice. It is easy to mistake them for the truth. It is easy to become the cloud, to believe that you are that flawed, inadequate person. When these clouds appear, the practice is to meet them with the vast, unconditional acceptance of the sky. The sky does not argue with the storm clouds. It does not say, "No, you are wrong, I am a good sky." It simply provides the space for the cloud to be what it is. In the same way, you can meet the thought of, "I am not good enough," with a spacious, non-judgmental awareness. You can label it softly, self-criticism, the voice of the inner critic. You see it as a pattern of thought, a conditioned mental habit, rather than a factual report on your true nature. You are the sky that is aware of the cloud of self-criticism. The sky is vast, whole, and complete. The cloud is small, temporary, and ultimately insubstantial. By seeing it this way, you take away its power. It is just a sound, just a shape, passing through the infinite stillness that you are. You can let it pass without leaving a trace on the pristine blue of your being. There are also subtle, almost invisible clouds. These are the clouds of assumption, the background beliefs that filter your entire perception of reality. A cloud that says, "The world is a dangerous place," or "I must always be productive to be worthy." These clouds are so constant that you may not even notice them as clouds. You mistake them for the sky itself. You believe they are reality. The practice here is a gentle inquiry. As you rest in stillness, you might begin to sense these underlying tensions, these subtle colorings of your awareness. You can ask, "What am I believing right now?" And you might see, for the first time, a belief that has been running your life from the shadows. Seeing it is the first and most important step. Once you see the assumption as a cloud, it is no longer the invisible lens through which you see everything. It becomes just another piece of weather, another transient phenomenon in the vastness of your mind. You can begin to have a choice about whether you want to believe it or not. This practice of observing thoughts as clouds is not about emptying the mind. A living sky is rarely empty. It is about cultivating a spacious and peaceful relationship with whatever arises in the mind. It is a shift from being a character lost in the drama of the weather to being the calm, unchanging witness of the entire sky. This shift is the very heart of freedom. It is the discovery that your peace is not dependent on having only pleasant, sunny thoughts. Your peace is deeper than thought. It is the very nature of the sky itself. So as you lie here, feel yourself as this vast, open expanse. Welcome whatever clouds may come, the happy memories, the anxious plans, the old sorrows, the sudden insights. Let them all drift through. There is room for everything in the sky of your awareness. Nothing needs to be pushed away, nothing needs to be clung to. You are the space for it all. And in this radical acceptance, in this profound allowing, the mind naturally begins to settle. The storms lose their energy, the clouds become fewer and farther between. The vast, silent, peaceful blue of your true nature reveals itself. This is the sanctuary. You have not created it, you have simply allowed it to be seen. And in this clear, quiet space, sleep can arrive. Not as an escape, but as a gentle and natural continuation of your own deep and abiding peace. The Garden of the Senses. We have journeyed inward, finding an anchor in the breath and learning to rest as the vast, open sky, allowing the clouds of thought to pass without disturbance. We have discovered a profound stillness that lies beneath the surface of the mind's activity. Now, from this place of inner quiet, we can gently begin to open up to the world again, but in a new way. We will not open up to the world of stories, problems, and plans, but to the world that is immediately present, the world that can be touched, heard, and felt, right here, right now. We are going to step out of the sky of the mind and into the quiet, moonlit garden of the senses. This garden is always here, waiting for you. It is the landscape of your immediate experience. Often, we are so lost in our thoughts about yesterday and tomorrow that we do not even notice we are living in this garden. We walk through it with our eyes closed, our ears filled with the inner chatter of the mind. But tonight, we will explore it with the gentle, open curiosity of a first-time visitor. We will let our senses be our guide, grounding us even more deeply in the peaceful reality of the present moment. Let your awareness, which has been resting on the breath and observing the mind, now gently expand to include the sensations of your body. Begin with the sense of touch. Feel the points of contact between your body and the surface that supports you. Notice the weight of your head on the pillow. Can you feel the subtle pressure, the way the pillow yields and cradles you? Let your head feel heavy, releasing any need to hold it up. Let the pillow do all the work. Now, bring your attention to the feeling of the blankets or sheets covering you. Notice their weight. Is it a light, airy feeling or a heavy, comforting pressure? Feel the texture of the fabric against your skin. Is it soft, smooth, crisp, or warm? Do not just think the word soft. Try to feel the actual sensation of softness. Let your skin be the organ of perception. Explore this simple feeling with your full attention. The mind does not need to name it or judge it. It only needs to feel it. This simple act of feeling the texture of a blanket can be a profound meditation, a doorway into the stillness of the now. Follow this sense of touch as it spreads throughout your body. Feel the air on any part of your skin that is exposed. Is it cool or warm? Can you feel a subtle movement, a gentle current in the room? Notice the feeling of your clothes against your body, the gentle pressure of a waistband or a sleeve. Each of these sensations is a small anchor, holding you here in the present. The mind cannot be worrying about tomorrow when it is fully absorbed in the feeling of the cool air on your cheek. Now, let us open the gate to the sense of hearing. For a moment, let your awareness become like a large, sensitive satellite dish, receiving all the sounds of your environment without any judgment or preference. You are not trying to listen for anything in particular. You are simply allowing sounds to arise and pass away in the field of your awareness. Perhaps you can hear the faint, ambient hum of the building you are in, the sound of a refrigerator, a heating system, or the quiet electronic whisper of a device in the room. These are the sounds we usually try to ignore, labeling them as background noise. But tonight, let them be part of the symphony of the present moment. Listen to them as if you were listening to music. Notice their pitch, their rhythm, their texture. Do they have a beginning and an end, or are they continuous? By giving them your gentle, non-judgmental attention, you strip them of their power to annoy you. They are no longer noise, they are simply sounds, arising and passing in the vast, silent space of your awareness. Perhaps you can hear sounds from outside, the distant rumble of a car passing by, the sigh of the wind in the trees, the chirp of a cricket, or maybe the sound of rain tapping gently on the window pane. Each sound is a visitor to your garden. You do not need to get up and answer the door. You can simply acknowledge its presence from where you are resting. Ah, the wind. Ah, a car. Let the sounds wash over you, through you, without leaving a trace. The silence of the room is not disturbed by these sounds. The silence is the space in which the sounds happen. You are that silence, listening. You might even be able to hear the sounds of your own body, the gentle rhythm of your own breathing, the soft, steady beat of your heart, a deep and faithful drum providing the baseline for your life. You might hear a small gurgle in your stomach. These are the sounds of your own aliveness. Listen to them with a sense of gentle appreciation for this body that works so tirelessly for you, even as you rest. Now, let us turn to the sense of sight. Even with your eyes closed, notice the darkness behind your eyelids. Is it a flat, uniform black, or are there subtle shifts in light and color? You might see faint patterns, gentle swirls of gray or purple that move and change. This is the inner landscape of vision. There is no need to try to see anything. Simply rest your awareness in this dark, quiet space. It is a restful, soothing place for the eyes, which have been working all day, taking in so much information. Allow them to bathe in this gentle darkness, to release all their tension. And what of the senses of taste and smell? They may be more subtle in this moment. Perhaps you can still faintly taste the toothpaste from when you brushed your teeth, or maybe you can smell the clean scent of your pillowcase, or the faint fragrance of a flower or incense in the room. If there are no distinct smells or tastes, then simply notice the absence of them. Notice the neutral, clean feeling in your mouth. Notice the simple, pure quality of the air as you breathe it in. Even this neutrality is a part of the garden of the senses, a patch of quiet, empty ground that is peaceful in its simplicity. By gently moving your attention from one sense to another, you are weaving a rich tapestry of present moment awareness. You are fully inhabiting your body, fully inhabiting this moment in time. The stories of the mind, the clouds of thought, begin to seem distant and unimportant compared to the vivid, undeniable reality of your sensory experience. The thought, "I am worried," is an abstract concept. The feeling of a soft blanket against your skin is a concrete reality. By grounding yourself in reality, you find a natural and effortless peace. This practice is a deep form of nourishment. In our busy lives, we often starve our senses. We eat without tasting. We walk without feeling the ground beneath our feet. We listen without truly hearing. We live in our heads, in a world of black and white concepts. But the garden of the senses is a world of rich color, texture, and sound. To spend time here is to replenish your soul, to drink directly from the wellspring of life. As you continue to rest in this garden, you may notice that the boundaries between the senses begin to blur. The cool feeling of the air on your skin might seem connected to the quiet sound of the wind outside. The gentle darkness behind your eyes might feel as soft and comforting as the blanket that covers you. Your whole body becomes a single, unified field of sensation. You are no longer a mind that has a body. You are a living, breathing, feeling organism, fully integrated and at peace. This is the state of being that animals and young children inhabit so naturally. They are not lost in thoughts about the past and future. They are here, now, absorbed in the sensory world. A cat is not thinking about its appointment tomorrow as it feels the warmth of a sunbeam on its fur. A baby is not regretting what it said yesterday as it gazes in wonder at the play of light on the ceiling. We can learn from them. We can remember how to come home to this simple, direct way of being. Let this sensory awareness be your lullaby. Let the feeling of the bed supporting you be a deep and comforting embrace. Let the quiet sounds of the night be a soothing chorus, signaling that all is well, that the world is at rest, and that you can be at rest too. Let the gentle darkness behind your eyes be a soft curtain, closing on the activities of the day and opening into the mysterious and restorative world of dreams. You do not need to search for peace. You do not need to create stillness. It is already here, in the simple, humble sensations of this very moment. It is in the feeling of your breath. It is in the sound of the silence. It is in the warmth of your own body. You only need to be quiet enough, to be present enough to notice it. The garden of the senses is the sanctuary. You are already in it. There is nowhere else you need to be. There is nothing else you need to do. Simply rest here. Simply be here. And let the peace of the present moment carry you into a deep and healing sleep. Let us wander deeper into this garden, exploring its hidden corners and subtle fragrances. The mind, accustomed to grand dramas and urgent problems, might at first find this sensory world too simple, perhaps even a little boring. It might protest, "Is this all there is? Just the feeling of a blanket? Just the sound of the wind?" This is the voice of a mind addicted to complexity and stimulation. But the path to peace lies in the opposite direction. It lies in the discovery of the profound richness hidden within the simplest things. Let's return to the sense of touch, but with an even finer attention. Feel the place where your lips gently meet. There is a line of subtle sensation there, a warmth, a softness. Can you rest your awareness in that tiny space without needing to do anything? Or notice the feeling of your tongue resting in your mouth. It has a weight, a shape, a moisture. It is an incredibly sensitive part of your body, yet we rarely pay any attention to it unless we are eating or speaking. To simply feel it resting in the quiet darkness of the mouth is a deeply grounding practice. It anchors you in the core of your physical being. Now, consider the air itself, not just as a sensation on your skin, but as a substance with a presence. Feel the volume of the room around you. The air fills the space between you and the walls, between you and the ceiling. It has a quality, a feeling. It is still and silent. It holds you in its invisible embrace. You are not just a body lying in an empty room. You are a body suspended in a vast, quiet ocean of air. You are breathing this ocean, and it is breathing you. This subtle shift in perception can transform a feeling of confinement in a room into a feeling of being held within a gentle, spacious presence. Let's refine our listening. Beyond the obvious sounds, can you hear the silence itself? Silence is not just the absence of sound, it is a presence. It has a quality, a texture. It is the canvas upon which all sounds are painted. Try to listen to the space between sounds. A car passes, and then there is a gap of silence before the next sound arises. Can you hear that gap? Can you rest in it? This is the deep well of silence we will explore later, but you can begin to taste it now. It is the silence from which all creation emerges and to which it all returns. It is profoundly peaceful. Listening to the silence is like listening to the sound of your own true nature. As you rest here, immersed in this sensory world, you are performing a quiet act of rebellion against the tyranny of the conceptual mind. The mind loves to label and categorize. It reduces the infinite richness of a single sensation to a single, dry word. It feels the complex, warm, heavy, soft pressure of the blanket and just thinks, blanket. And once it has labeled it, it thinks it knows it. And it moves on to the next thing to label. This is how we lose the magic of the world. The practice of sensory awareness is a practice of unlabeling. It is a practice of returning to the raw data of experience before the mind has processed it and filed it away. It is about experiencing the world with the fresh, curious mind of an infant, for whom every sensation is a new and fascinating discovery. When you can feel the warmth of the blanket without the word warmth, when you can hear the hum of the refrigerator without the label refrigerator, you are experiencing reality directly. You are breaking free from the prison of your own concepts, and in this direct, unfiltered experience, there is a simple, profound joy. It is the joy of being truly alive. This practice also cultivates a deep intimacy with your own life. Your life is not the story you tell yourself about it. Your life is not your list of accomplishments or your collection of regrets. Your life, in this very moment, is the feeling of your breath, the sound of your heart, the warmth of your body. That is all it is, and that is everything. By paying attention to these simple, humble realities, you are honoring your life. You are saying that this moment, just as it is worthy of your full attention. You are falling in love with the ordinary, and in doing so, you discover that it was never ordinary at all. It was always sacred. Let this gentle exploration of the senses be a form of deep kindness to yourself. You are allowing your mind, which has been working so hard all day, to finally take a rest. You are giving it a simple, beautiful, and peaceful place to be. You are not asking it to solve any more problems or make any more plans. You are simply inviting it to come and rest in the garden of the senses. Here, there is no pressure to perform. There is no need to be anyone or achieve anything. You can just be. You can just feel. As you sink deeper into this sensory awareness, the distinction between your body and the world around it may begin to soften. The air you breathe in becomes part of you. Sounds of the night permeate your being. The support of the bed merges with the feeling of your own bones. You are not a separate entity in a separate world. You are a part of a vast, interconnected web of sensation. This is the truth of interdependence, not as a philosophical concept, but as a lived, felt reality. It is a deeply comforting and reassuring feeling. You are not alone. You are held by the world, and you are a part of the world. Allow this feeling of interconnectedness, of simple, grounded presence, to be the final cradle that rocks you to sleep. The journey is complete. You have moved from the anxious, noisy marketplace of the mind to the quiet anchor of the breath. You have learned to rest as the vast, open sky, allowing the clouds of thought to pass. And now, you have come home to the rich, peaceful, and sacred garden of your own senses. You are fully here, fully present, fully at peace. There is nothing more that needs to be done. The sanctuary is not a distant goal. You are in it now. It is made of the very substance of this moment. The darkness, the silence, the warmth, the breath. Rest in this. Dissolve into this, and let it carry you into the deepest, most restorative sleep. The parable of the empty boat. You are resting in the quiet garden of your senses. The world of thought has receded, and you are grounded in the simple, profound reality of this moment. The body is calm, the mind is still. This is a state of peace. But life, like a flowing river, is never entirely without ripples. Even as you rest here, a memory from the day may gently surface. A moment of friction, a conversation that left a sour taste, an interaction where you felt overlooked, dismissed, or wronged. Perhaps someone spoke to you with a sharp tone. Perhaps a driver on the road was careless and caused you a moment of alarm. Perhaps a promise was not kept, leaving you with a feeling of disappointment. As the memory arises, you might feel a faint echo of the original emotion, a subtle tightening in the chest, a slight warmth of irritation in the face, a familiar knot of frustration in the stomach. The peace of your garden feels momentarily disturbed. A stone has been tossed into the still water of your mind, and the ripples are spreading. It is our nature to believe that the stone, the external event, is the sole cause of our disturbance. We think, I am angry because of what that person did. I am frustrated because the world is not meeting my expectations. Our peace, we believe, is a fragile thing, constantly at the mercy of other people's actions and life's unpredictable circumstances. We feel like a small boat, tossed about by the waves created by others. Tonight, let us explore this feeling through a simple story, a parable that holds a key to a much deeper and more stable kind of peace. It is the story of the empty boat. Imagine a vast, tranquil lake, nestled between ancient, sleeping mountains. It is the hour just before dawn, when the world is painted in soft shades of grey and silver. A thick mist hangs low over the water, muffling all sound, creating a world that feels both intimate and infinite. The air is cool and damp, carrying the clean scent of water and wet earth. Out on this lake, a lone fisherman is rowing his small wooden boat. Let us call him Kenshin. He is not a great master or a wise sage, just a simple man who loves the solitude of the early morning. He has come out to this spot every day for years. The rhythmic creak of his oars, the gentle splash as they dip into the water, and the soft gliding of his boat are the only sounds in the world. For him, this is a sacred time, a time of profound peace and connection with the stillness of nature. He feels the smooth, worn wood of the oars in his hands. He watches the mist swirl and part before him. He breathes in the cool, clean air. He is completely at one with his world. As he rows toward his favorite fishing spot in the middle of the lake, he sees the faint outline of another boat emerge from the dense mist, moving directly toward him. At first, He is not concerned. The lake is large, and he assumes the other rower will see him and change course. He continues his steady, peaceful rhythm. But the other boat keeps coming, on a direct collision course. Kenshin stops rowing. A flicker of annoyance sparks within him. What is this fool doing? He thinks. Is he asleep? Does he not see me? The peace of his morning is broken. The silence is now filled with the rising volume of his own inner commentary. He calls out, his voice sharp in the quiet air. "Hey, watch where you are going!" There is no response. The boat continues to drift silently, inexorably toward him. Now Kenshin's annoyance blossoms into anger. His heart begins to beat faster. He feels a flush of heat in his neck and face. The tranquility of the lake is gone, replaced by a turbulent sea of indignation. All his focus is on this careless, disrespectful person in the other boat. He imagines a lazy fool, a drunkard, or someone who is deliberately trying to provoke him. He constructs a whole story about the person in that boat, and with each detail he adds, his anger grows. He shouts again, louder this time, his voice filled with fury. "Turn aside, you idiot! Are you blind?" Still, only silence answers him. The boat is now just a few feet away. Kenshin braces himself for the impact, his knuckles white as he grips the sides of his boat. He is filled with rage. He is already planning the tirade he will unleash upon this person who has so carelessly shattered his perfect morning. He is ready to fight, to teach this fool a lesson. The boats collide with a dull, hollow thud. The impact is gentle, but to Kenshin, it feels like a personal assault. He springs to his feet, his face contorted with anger, and he leans over to scream at the other rower. And then he stops. His mouth hangs open. The angry words die in his throat. He looks into the other boat, and he sees that it is empty. There is no one there. No careless fool, no drunkard, no malicious provocateur. There is only an empty boat, a simple wooden vessel that has come untethered from its mooring and has been drifting silently with the gentle currents of the lake. In that instant, all of Kenshin's anger vanishes. It simply evaporates, like the mist under the morning sun. How can you be angry at an empty boat? There is no one to blame. There is no one to receive his rage. The target for all his fury is gone. All that is left is the gentle rocking of the two boats, the vast silence of the lake, and the first golden rays of sunrise beginning to pierce the mist. He stands there for a long moment, looking at the empty boat. A slow smile spreads across his face. He begins to laugh, not a loud, boisterous laugh, but a quiet, deep chuckle of profound understanding. He sees it all so clearly. The anger was not in the other boat, the anger was in him. The story of the careless fool was a story he told himself. He had created the entire storm in his own mind. The empty boat had done nothing. It had simply revealed the anger that was already inside him, waiting for a target. Kenshin sits back down. He gently pushes the empty boat away, sending it on its silent journey. He picks up his oars, and as he begins to row again, the peace that returns to him is deeper and more resilient than the peace he had felt before. He has learned a powerful lesson. From that day on, whenever anyone did something that would have previously made him angry, he would simply smile to himself and think, "Ah, another empty boat." This story is a gentle mirror for our own lives. Think of the small frustrations you felt today, the person who sent the curt email, the colleague who interrupted you, the family member who seemed not to be listening. In those moments, we, like Kenshin, create a story. We assume intention. We believe their boat is aimed directly at us. We think, they are being disrespectful. They don't value me. They are being deliberately difficult. And with that story, we generate our own anger, our own frustration, our own suffering. But what if those boats were empty? What if the person who sent the curt email was simply in a hurry, overwhelmed with their own deadlines, and their brevity had nothing to do with you? What if the colleague who interrupted you was excited about an idea, and simply forgot their manners in a moment of passion? What if the family member who seemed not to be listening was lost in their own worries, their mind 1,000 miles away, struggling with a problem you know nothing about? Their boat is empty. It is not aimed at you. It has simply drifted into your path, carried by the invisible currents of their own life, their own stress, their own conditioning. When we can see this, our anger has no target. It cannot survive. It dissolves, and what is left is the possibility of understanding, of compassion, and of peace. This does not mean that we condone harmful behavior or that we become passive doormats. It simply means that we stop taking things so personally. We stop giving away our inner peace to events that are, for the most part, not about us at all. The world is full of empty boats. Life itself is an empty boat. A sudden illness, a financial setback, a rainy day that cancels our plans. We can get angry at these things, as if they have a personal vendetta against us. Or we can see them for what they are: impersonal events drifting on the currents of cause and effect. They are empty. The real discovery in the story is not about the other boat. It is about Kenshin's boat. It is about our own boat. The anger, the frustration, the irritation, these things are our own cargo. They are pre-existing conditions within us. The empty boat does not create them. It simply bumps into us and reveals what we are already carrying. So, the practice becomes one of self-inquiry. When you feel that familiar spark of anger or annoyance, you can gently ask yourself, what is this event bumping into inside of me? Is it my expectation of how people should behave? Is it my need for control? Is it my fear of not being respected? The empty boat becomes a teacher. It points us back to our own inner work, to the places within us that are not yet at peace. As you lie here, preparing for sleep, allow this story to wash over you. Let go of the small battles you fought today. Let go of the resentments you might be holding. Picture each person, each event that disturbed your peace as an empty boat, drifting aimlessly on a vast, misty lake. They were not aimed at you. They were just drifting. Feel the anger and frustration that you were holding in your body begin to dissolve. The knot in your stomach unties. The tension in your jaw releases. The tightness in your shoulders softens. There is no one to be angry at. There is nothing to fight against. There is only the gentle rocking of your own boat on the calm, quiet waters of the present moment. You are not the angry fisherman. You are the lake itself, vast, deep, and still. The boats, the events of the day, the thoughts in your mind, the feelings in your body are just ripples on your surface. They come and they go. They cannot disturb the profound stillness of your depths. Embrace this feeling of spaciousness and peace. Know that your tranquility does not depend on a world free of empty boats. It depends only on your ability to see them for what they are. This is a profound freedom. It is a peace that cannot be taken away from you. It is the sanctuary within. Rest in this understanding. Let it be the gentle current that carries you into a deep and dreamless sleep. Let us stay with Kenshin for a while longer, sitting in his boat after the empty one has drifted away. The sun is higher now, and the mist has burned off, revealing the stunning clarity of the lake and the majestic presence of the mountains. The world is awake, but Kenshin is in a state of deeper peace than he has ever known. He is not just enjoying the absence of noise, he is experiencing the presence of a profound insight. He realizes that his entire life has been spent reacting to other boats, assuming they were all steered by conscious and often malicious pilots. He thinks back on years of arguments with his wife, disagreements with his neighbors, and frustrations with the merchants in his village. In every instance, he had seen a deliberate captain at the helm of the other boat, steering a course intended to annoy, inconvenience, or harm him. Now, he sees a flotilla of empty boats drifting on the currents of habit, fear, and ignorance. His wife, when she was critical, was not trying to hurt him. Her boat was simply drifting on the current of her own anxiety about their future. His neighbor, who played his music too loud, was not trying to be disrespectful. His boat was drifting on the current of his own loneliness, trying to fill the silence of his home. The merchant who overcharged him was not a thief at heart. His boat was drifting on the current of his fear of poverty, a fear passed down through his family for generations. This realization does not make their actions right, but it removes the poison of personal animosity. It is the difference between being shot by an arrow and being accidentally struck by a falling branch. The pain of the impact may be the same, but the inner response is completely different. There is no one to hate for the falling branch, you simply tend to the wound. Kenshin understands that seeing the world as full of empty boats is an act of supreme intelligence and compassion. It is not a naive denial of reality. It is a deeper perception of it. It is seeing the hidden currents that move people, the invisible histories and fears that steer their course. To see this is to move from a world of blame to a world of understanding. And in a world of understanding, anger cannot find a foothold. He also turns this insight upon himself. He looks at his own boat, at his own actions. How many times had his own boat been empty? How many times had he spoken a sharp word, not out of malice, but because he was tired or hungry? How many times had he been neglectful, not because he didn't care, but because he was lost in his own thoughts, his own worries? He sees that he, too, has been an empty boat for others, bumping into them and causing them to believe he was a careless fool. This brings a wave of humility and a deep sense of connection with others. We are all, in a sense, empty boats, doing our best to navigate the vast, misty lake of existence, often steered by currents we do not even understand. This shared vulnerability, this shared ignorance, is the foundation of true compassion. How can he hold on to anger against another when he sees himself in them so clearly? This new perspective changes everything. It is not a technique to be applied. It is a fundamental shift in how he sees the world. It is a form of inner disarmament. He is laying down the heavy weapons of judgment, blame, and resentment that he has been carrying for so long. And in their place, he feels a lightness, a freedom, a quiet joy. As you rest here, you can practice this disarmament too. Bring to mind one small irritation from your day. See the person involved. See their boat. Now, try to imagine the invisible currents that might have been moving them. Were they tired? Were they scared? Were they in physical pain? Were they simply repeating a pattern they learned in childhood? You do not need to know the exact reason. You only need to open to the possibility that their boat was empty, that their action was not about you. As you do this, feel what happens in your own body. Feel the subtle release of tension. The story of "they wronged me" is a story that requires physical armor. The story of "it was just an empty boat" allows that armor to dissolve. You are not forgiving them for their sake. You are freeing yourself for your own sake. You are choosing peace over being right. You are choosing to keep your own inner lake calm and clear. This practice extends beyond people to situations. The traffic jam is an empty boat. The unexpected bill is an empty boat. The appliance that breaks is an empty boat. They are not cosmic conspiracies designed to ruin your day. They are simply the impersonal driftings of a complex world. We can shout at them, we can fill our minds with rage and frustration, or we can see them as empty boats, breathe, and navigate around them with as much grace as we can muster. The ultimate empty boat, the one that causes us the most fear and anger, is the boat of our own mortality. We see it drifting toward us from the mists of the future, and we rage against it. We see it as a personal affront, a cruel thief coming to steal our life. But the wisdom of the empty boat teaches us to see this too with peace. Death is not a malicious captain. It is an empty boat, drifting on the natural, impersonal currents of the universe. It is the natural untethering of our form. To see it this way is not to be morbid, but to be free. It allows us to live each moment more fully, without the constant, exhausting battle against the inevitable. Kenshin, now an old man, still goes out on the lake each morning. His movements are slower, his hands more gnarled, but his eyes hold a deep, unshakable peace. Other boats still bump into him from time to time. The world has not changed, but he has. He greets each collision, whether from a person or a circumstance, with that same quiet, knowing smile. He has learned the secret. He has learned to live in a world of empty boats. And because of this, his own boat is no longer filled with the heavy cargo of anger and resentment. It is light. It is spacious. It is filled only with the vast, silent peace of the lake itself. Let this be your final thought as you drift towards sleep. Let your own boat become empty. Empty of worries about tomorrow. Empty of regrets about yesterday. Empty of judgments about yourself and others. Let it be an empty vessel, floating peacefully on the calm, dark waters of the night, ready to receive the restorative gift of deep and profound rest. Part 6. Cultivating the Inner Landscape. We have journeyed with Kenshin and learned to see the world as a collection of empty boats drifting on currents we cannot always see. This insight has brought a great release, a spaciousness in the heart where anger and resentment once took root. We have disarmed ourselves, laying down the heavy burden of taking life personally. Now, in this newly cleared space, we find ourselves standing at the edge of a quiet, forgotten place. It is the secret garden of your own heart. For a long time, perhaps, you have not visited this place. The gate is old and covered in ivy, and it creaks softly as you push it open. You step inside. This is your inner landscape, the soil of your own consciousness. What do you find here? It is not a perfect, manicured paradise, nor is it a barren wasteland. It is simply a garden, a reflection of your life, with its own unique beauty and its own areas of neglect. In some corners, beautiful wild flowers grow in abundance. These are your innate qualities of goodness, your natural capacity for joy, your spontaneous moments of kindness. They have grown here without any conscious effort from you, a testament to the fundamental goodness of your own nature. Sunlight filters through the leaves of strong, old trees. These are your strengths, your wisdom, the lessons you have learned through experience. A small, clear spring may bubble up from the ground, the source of your creativity and inspiration. Take a moment to appreciate the natural beauty that already exists within you. It has always been here. But as you walk further, you also notice the parts of the garden that need tending. You see patches of thorny, tangled weeds. These are the habitual patterns of your mind that cause you and others suffering. There are the weeds of worry, fast-growing and invasive, that wrap themselves around the beautiful flowers and choke the life from them. Their roots are shallow, but spread far and wide, creating a thick mat of anxiety just below the surface of the soil. You see the weeds of self-criticism. These are like a persistent, shadowy moss that covers the beautiful, sun-warmed stones of your accomplishments and self-worth, making them feel cold and insignificant. This moss thrives in the damp, dark places of the mind, whispering that you are not enough, that the garden is not good enough. And there are the deep-rooted weeds of old resentments. These are bitter, poisonous plants with tough, woody stems. They go down deep, drawing nutrients from the soil and leaving it sour, depleted. They may have been growing for a very long time, and their presence can make it difficult for anything new and healthy to grow nearby. To look upon this garden, with both its beauty and its challenges, is the first act of a wise and compassionate gardener. and you are that gardener. Your task is not to judge the garden, not to despair at the sight of the weeds. A wise gardener does not hate the weeds. They simply understand that their nature is to grow, and that the garden thrives when they are gently removed. So, let us begin the gentle work of tending. Your tools are not harsh or violent. You will not use poison or fire. Your tools are mindfulness, patience, and a loving heart. Let us approach the patch of worry weeds first. Instead of ripping them out with frustration, which only scatters their seeds, you kneel down beside them. You look at them closely. This is the act of mindfulness. You see the pattern of your worry. You see the thoughts that feed it. You acknowledge its presence without judgment. Ah, here is worry. Then, with your hands, you gently loosen the soil around its roots. This is the act of relaxing the body. When you worry, the body tenses. By consciously softening your belly, your shoulders, your jaw, you are loosening the soil that the weed of worry thrives in. You are cutting off its support system. You breathe, and with each exhale, the soil becomes softer, more yielding. Now, you can gently lift the weed out, roots and all. You see how its roots were tangled with the roots of the flowers you cherish. You see how it was drawing energy away from them. And what do you do with this weed? You do not cast it away with anger. You carry it over to a special place in the corner of the garden, the compost pile. The compost pile is a place of magical transformation. It is where you place all the things that are no longer needed in their current form. You place the weed of worry on the pile, and you trust in the alchemy of nature. Over time, through the mysterious processes of decay and renewal, this weed will break down. Its energy will be transformed. It will become rich, dark, fertile soil that you can later use to nourish the very flowers it was once choking. This is the great secret of inner work. You do not destroy your suffering. You transform it into wisdom, into compassion, into the very soil of your own awakening. You do this with all the weeds. You approach the moss of self-criticism. You see it for what it is, a conditioned pattern, perhaps learned in childhood. You gently peel it back from the warm stone of your true worth, letting the sunlight and the air touch the stone once more. You place the moss on the compost pile, trusting it will be transformed. You approach the bitter weed of an old resentment. This one is deep. You may need to dig patiently for a long time, breathing, softening, gently working around the deep root until it finally comes free. The sense of release is immense. And this, too, goes to the compost pile, to be transformed into future nourishment. The work of weeding is not a one-time event. Weeds will always appear. But now you have a new relationship with them. You are not afraid of them. You do not see them as a sign of failure. You see them simply as a call to tend to your garden, a reminder to return to your practice with patience and love. Now that you have cleared some space, it is time to consciously cultivate and plant. The soil has been prepared. It is softer now, aerated by your mindful breath, watered by your compassion. What seeds will you plant in this fertile ground? Let us choose to plant the seeds of the 4 boundless qualities, the most beautiful and resilient flowers in the universe. The first seed you hold in your hand is the seed of loving kindness, or metta. It is a small, humble-looking seed, but it contains the potential for a flower of incredible fragrance and beauty. To plant this seed, you bring to mind someone you care about easily, a friend, a family member, a beloved pet. You hold their image in your heart, and you silently offer them a simple wish. May you be happy. May you be peaceful. May you be free from suffering. As you make this wish, feel the warmth that it generates in your own heart. This warmth is the first sprout. You are watering the seed with your own genuine care. Then, you turn this same wish toward yourself. May I be happy. May I be peaceful. May I be free from suffering. You plant the seed of loving kindness right in the center of your own garden. It will grow into a radiant flower that warms everything around it. The second seed is the seed of compassion, or karuna. This seed grows into a great, strong tree, one that can provide shelter and shade for many. To plant this seed, you allow yourself to touch the reality of suffering, your own or another's. Perhaps you think of a time you have struggled, or you bring to mind someone you know who is in pain. You do not turn away from this discomfort. You breathe it in. You acknowledge it with a brave and open heart. And you plant the seed with the wish, may you be free from this suffering. May you find peace. This act of wishing for the relief of pain, for yourself and others, grows into a mighty tree of compassion within you. Its branches will be a refuge in times of storm. The third seed is the seed of sympathetic joy, or mudita. This seed grows into a bright, brilliant flower, like a sunflower, that always turns its face toward the light. To plant this seed, you bring to mind the happiness or good fortune of another person. Perhaps a friend received good news, or you saw a stranger laughing with pure delight. Instead of feeling envy or indifference, you consciously choose to share in their happiness. You plant the seed with the thought, how wonderful for you. I am happy that you are happy. This is a powerful antidote to the weeds of comparison and jealousy. The sunflower of sympathetic joy fills your garden with light and vibrant color, celebrating the goodness that exists in the world. The fourth and final seed is the seed of equanimity, or upekkha. This is a mysterious and powerful seed. It does not grow into a flower or a tree, but into a deep, still pond at the center of your garden. This pond reflects the sky perfectly, whether it is sunny and clear or dark and stormy. To plant this seed is to cultivate balance and peace in the face of life's constant changes. You practice by acknowledging that life contains both pleasure and pain, gain and loss, praise and blame. You plant the seed with the intention, may I meet all of life's changes with a calm and peaceful heart. This pond of equanimity becomes the source of deep stability and wisdom in your garden. It is the quiet center that holds everything else in a harmonious balance. Now the seeds are planted, but the work of the gardener is never done. Each day, you must return to your garden. You must water these seeds with your attention. You must make sure they get the sunlight of your daily practice. You must continue to gently remove the weeds that will inevitably sprout. Tending this inner garden is the most important work you will ever do. A beautiful outer life is a reflection of a well-tended inner garden. As your garden becomes more vibrant and harmonious, you will find that you have more to offer the world. You will have the shade of your compassion to offer to those who are suffering. You will have the bright flowers of your joy to share with those who are celebrating. You will have the fragrance of your kindness to soothe those you meet. And you will have the deep, still water of your equanimity to remain a peaceful presence in a turbulent world. As you prepare to drift into sleep, imagine yourself resting now in this beautiful, secret garden of your heart. Lie down on a patch of soft, green moss beside the still pond of equanimity. The air is filled with the gentle fragrance of loving kindness. The great tree of compassion offers you its protective shade. The sunflowers of joy nod their heads in the gentle breeze of your breath. The compost pile is quietly working its magic, turning old sorrows into future strengths. All is well. You are home. You are safe in the sanctuary you have cultivated with your own loving hands. Rest here, and let the peace of this garden dissolve you into sleep. Let us linger a while longer in this sacred garden. The work of weeding and planting is the active part of gardening, but there is another, equally important aspect: the art of simply being in the garden. It is the art of appreciation, of observation, of allowing the garden to reveal its own quiet wisdom to you. Imagine now that the sun has set, and a soft, silver moon rises over your inner landscape. The garden takes on a new character in the moonlight. The colors are softer, the shadows deeper. It is a time for quiet contemplation. You walk the familiar paths, but you see things you did not notice in the bright light of day. You notice the intricate patterns on the leaves of the plants, the delicate veins that carry life through them. You see the subtle way the moonlight catches a single drop of dew on a flower petal, making it shine like a tiny diamond. You become aware of the night-blooming flowers, the ones that save their fragrance and beauty for the darkness. These are the qualities within you that emerge not in the busy activity of your day, but in the quiet, introspective moments of your life. Your intuition, your capacity for deep reflection, your connection to the mysterious and the unknown. This is a time to befriend the soil itself. The soil is the foundation of the entire garden. It is your own consciousness, the very ground of your being. In the past, you may have ignored it, focusing only on the flowers and the weeds that grew from it. But now, you can develop a relationship with the soil itself. Kneel down and take a handful of it. It is cool and dark and smells of life and earth. It is made of eons of history, of fallen leaves and crumbled stones, of all the experiences that have brought you to this moment. You realize that the soil is not inherently good or bad, it is simply potential. With care and attention, it can support the most beautiful flowers. With neglect, it can become hard-packed and barren or overrun with weeds. Your daily practice of mindfulness is like turning the soil, keeping it aerated and receptive. Your practice of compassion is like adding water, keeping it moist and life-giving. Your practice of letting go is like adding nutrients, composting old experiences into nourishment for new growth. As you sit in the moonlight, you might also become aware of the garden's inhabitants. There are the helpful creatures, the earthworms silently aerating the soil, the bees sleeping in the hearts of the flowers, the ladybugs that keep the pests in check. These are the helpful, supportive thoughts and impulses within you, the quiet inner allies that work for your well-being without any conscious effort. You can feel a sense of gratitude for these unseen helpers. And there are the challenging creatures too, perhaps a rabbit that comes to nibble on your tender new sprouts, or a mole that digs disruptive tunnels. These are the recurring, destructive habits of mind, the patterns of addiction or aversion that seem to undo your hard work. The old way would be to see them as enemies, to set traps, to declare war. But the wise gardener knows that these creatures are also just trying to survive. They are driven by their own hunger, their own fear. Instead of violence, the wise gardener practices skillful means. You might build a small, gentle fence around the most vulnerable plants. This is the practice of setting healthy boundaries in your life, of protecting your inner peace from situations or relationships that consistently cause harm. You do not do it with anger, but with wisdom and self-care. For the mole, perhaps you learn to plant things that it does not like, or you create a more appealing habitat for it in a different part of the garden. This is the practice of redirecting negative energy, of finding creative and compassionate solutions to your inner conflicts rather than engaging in a head-on battle. You learn to work with the nature of your mind, rather than constantly fighting against it. In this deep, quiet observation, you begin to understand the interconnectedness of everything in your garden. The health of the soil affects the strength of the flowers. The presence of the bees affects the fruiting of the trees. The amount of rain affects the growth of the weeds. Nothing exists in isolation. It is a complex, dynamic, living system. And so it is with your inner life. Your thoughts affect your emotions affect your physical body. Your physical body affects your energy levels. Your energy levels affect your actions. Your actions affect the world around you, which in turn affects your thoughts. It is all one seamless whole. The realization of this interconnectedness is a profound insight. It helps you to see that tending to one small part of your garden, for example, Cultivating a single moment of kindness can send ripples of health and well-being throughout the entire system. Every small act of inner gardening matters. As the night deepens, you find your way back to your resting place by the still pond of equanimity. You look into its dark, reflective surface. You see the moon, the stars, the silhouette of the great tree of compassion. You see your own face, calm and peaceful in the silvery light. The pond does not cling to these reflections. When a cloud covers the moon, the pond reflects the cloud. When the moon reappears, the pond reflects the moon again. It remains undisturbed, its own nature unchanged by the passing show. This is the ultimate goal of your inner gardening. It is to cultivate a mind that is like this pond, clear, reflective, and unshakably peaceful. A mind that can experience the full range of life's beauty and sorrow without being thrown off balance. A mind that knows its own deep, still nature is never touched by the fleeting reflections on its surface. This is not a distant, unattainable goal. It is the natural state of a well-tended garden. Every time you gently remove a weed of worry, you are clearing the water. Every time you plant a seed of loving kindness, you are nourishing the life within the pond. Every time you simply sit and appreciate the beauty of your garden, you are allowing the sediment to settle, revealing the water's natural clarity. So rest now, wise gardener. You have done good work. You have walked the sacred ground of your own being with mindfulness and love. You have honored both the flowers and the weeds. You have planted seeds for a beautiful future. Now, there is nothing left to do but to trust in the process. Trust in the soil, trust in the seeds, trust in the sun and the rain, and trust in the deep, innate wisdom of the garden itself to grow and blossom in its own perfect time. Let this trust be the soft earth that holds you as you sink into a peaceful, well-earned sleep. The stillness of the mountain. You have been tending to your inner garden, a place of growth, change, and gentle cultivation. You have learned to work with the soil of your mind, planting seeds of kindness and compassion, and transforming the weeds of your suffering. This is the path of active practice, of skillful engagement with the dynamic flow of your inner life. But there is another way to touch the sanctuary within, another powerful image to hold as you drift toward sleep. It is the way of embodying the absolute, unshakable stillness of a great mountain. Imagine for a moment that your body, as it rests here, is a majestic mountain. Feel its immense weight, its solidness, its deep connection to the earth. Your back is the long, sloping ridge. Your head is the high, snow-capped peak, touching the vast, empty sky. Your shoulders and arms are the strong, rocky cliffs, and your seated lower body is the broad, stable base, rooted deep in the bedrock of the planet. Feel yourself not just as a body lying on a bed, but as a mountain, ancient and unmoving. The mountain simply sits. It does not need to do anything. Its power, its majesty, its profound peace comes from its absolute stillness, its unwavering presence. It has been sitting in this same spot for millions of years, long before the first humans walked the earth, and it will be sitting here long after we are gone. It is a symbol of timeless, enduring being. As you embody this mountain, you can feel its qualities infusing your own being. Feel its stability. The mountain is not swayed by the winds that blow across its face. It is not shaken by the earth tremors that may rumble deep within its core. It remains. Allow this sense of deep, grounded stability to permeate your body and mind. Know that beneath the surface-level agitations of your day, there is a core of your being that is just as stable, just as unshakable. Feel the mountain's patience. The mountain has seen countless sunrises and sunsets. It has watched civilizations rise and fall in the valleys below. It is in no hurry. It rests in a timescale that is beyond human comprehension. Allow yourself to tap into this immense patience. Let go of the hurried, anxious energy of your day. Let go of the feeling that you need to rush, to achieve, to become. In this moment, you can rest in the deep, patient stillness of the mountain. There is nothing to do, nowhere to go. You have already arrived. Now, as you sit as this great mountain, notice the weather. The weather is constantly changing. One moment, the sun is shining brightly, warming the mountain's rocky face. The birds are singing in the forests on its slopes. Everything is bright, clear, and joyful. These are the pleasant moments of your life, the moments of happiness, success, and connection. The mountain accepts the sun without clinging to it. It simply allows itself to be warmed, to be bathed in light. It knows the sun will not last forever. It enjoys it while it is here, without attachment. Then, the clouds begin to gather. The sky grows dark. A fierce wind begins to howl, whipping around the high peaks. A cold, driving rain, or perhaps a blinding blizzard of snow, descends upon the mountain. The world becomes a turbulent, violent, and inhospitable place. These are the difficult times in your life, the moments of loss, of failure, of pain, of confusion. The storm rages with incredible fury, but what is the mountain's response? The mountain does not resist the storm. It does not try to push the clouds away. It does not complain about the wind or the rain. It does not feel personally attacked by the weather. It simply sits, allowing the storm to be what it is. It allows the wind to blow, the rain to fall, the snow to blanket its slopes. It is so vast, so solid, so deeply rooted in the earth, that the storm, for all its power and fury, cannot truly harm it. The storm is a surface event. The core of the mountain remains completely undisturbed. And so it is with you. When the storms of life come, the difficult emotions, the painful thoughts, the challenging circumstances, you can remember that you are the mountain. You can learn to sit with the storm, without resisting it, without being consumed by it. You can allow the winds of anger to blow, the rains of sadness to fall, the blizzards of fear to rage. You do not have to fight them. You can feel their energy, their intensity, but you can also feel the deep, unshakable stillness of your own mountainous being beneath it all. The storm is happening to you, but it is not you. You are the vast, silent presence that is witnessing the storm. The storm will always pass. No storm lasts forever. After a time, the winds will die down, the clouds will part, and the sun will emerge once more. The mountain is still there. It may be wet from the rain or covered in a fresh blanket of snow, but it is fundamentally unchanged. In fact, the storm has washed its face clean, nourished the forests on its slopes, and perhaps added a new layer of beautiful white snow to its peak. In the same way, the difficult periods of your life, if you can meet them with the stability of the mountain, can cleanse you, nourish you, and add to your depth and wisdom. They are not just something to be endured. They can be a source of profound transformation. As you continue to sit as the mountain, you become aware of the constant, small-scale changes happening on your surface. Trees grow and die, rocks are weathered by the wind and rain, and small pebbles tumble down your slopes. Animals are born, live their lives, and die in your forests. The seasons change. Spring brings new life, a vibrant green blush that spreads across your flanks. Summer is a time of lush, deep growth. Autumn sets your forests ablaze with colors of gold and crimson. Winter brings a stark, quiet beauty, a deep and silent rest under a blanket of snow. All of this activity, this endless cycle of birth, growth, decay, and death, is happening on the surface of the mountain. But the mountain itself, in its core, remains still. It is the silent, enduring stage upon which the entire drama of life unfolds. This is a powerful metaphor for your own consciousness. Your thoughts, your feelings, your sensations, your memories, your plans. These are like the trees, the animals, the changing seasons on the surface of the mountain. They are constantly arising, changing, and passing away. There is a constant buzz of activity. But your core awareness, the fundamental consciousness that is witnessing all of this, is like the mountain itself. It is still, it is silent, it is unchanging. To realize this is to find a place of profound refuge. You no longer need to identify with every thought, every feeling that passes through you. You are not the fleeting anger. You are not the passing sadness. You are not the anxious thought about tomorrow. You are the vast, silent, mountainous presence that is aware of all these things. You are the stillness that holds the motion. You are the silence that holds the sound. Let this feeling of mountainous stillness deepen as you prepare for sleep. Feel the weight of your body as the weight of the mountain. Feel the stillness of your body as the stillness of the mountain. Let your breath be like the slow, subtle winds that drift across the mountain's face, a gentle, natural movement on the surface of a vast and unmoving presence. The world can continue its frantic activity. The storms of politics, of society, of other people's lives can continue to rage. But here, in this moment, you are the mountain. You are a sanctuary of stability and peace. Nothing can move you. Nothing can disturb your core. You are rooted in the earth, and your head touches the stars. This is not an act of dissociation or avoidance. The mountain is not separate from the world. It is fully a part of it. It feels the sun. It feels the rain. It provides a home for countless living beings. In the same way, by cultivating this inner stillness, you are not withdrawing from life. You are preparing yourself to meet life more fully, more wisely, and more compassionately. From a place of inner stability, you can be a source of strength and refuge for others. You can be a calm presence in a stormy world. Let go now of all striving. Let go of the gardener who is actively trying to cultivate. For this moment, simply be the mountain. There is nothing to fix, nothing to change, nothing to achieve. Your very being is already a state of perfection, of completeness. You are already whole. You are already at peace. All you need to do is to rest in this recognition. Feel the deep, quiet power in this stillness. It is not an empty, lifeless stillness. It is a stillness that is vibrant with potential, pregnant with a deep, silent wisdom. It is the stillness that is at the heart of all creation. By aligning yourself with it, you are aligning yourself with the very source of life. Let this be your final meditation. As you drift off to sleep, let your last conscious thought be, I am the mountain. And then let go of even that thought and dissolve into the pure, silent, unmoving being that you are. Let your sleep be as deep and as peaceful as the heart of a great mountain, a rest that is absolute, restorative, and profound. Let us explore the inner geology of this mountain that you are. A mountain is not just a surface exposed to the weather. Its true strength lies in its immense, hidden depths. Imagine your awareness traveling downward from the high peak of your conscious mind, down through the rocky slopes of your personal history, and deeper still into the vast, ancient bedrock of your being. Down here, far below the surface, there is no weather. There is no day or night, no summer or winter. There is only a profound, timeless stillness. The pressure is immense, but it is not a stressful pressure. It is a unifying, solidifying force that holds everything together. This is the realm of the collective unconscious, the deep, shared foundation of all existence. It is made of the stuff of stars, of the dust of ancient continents, of the memory of the entire universe. To touch this level of your being is to touch a stability that is absolute. Feel your own roots extending down into this bedrock. You are not an isolated peak. You are part of a vast underground range, connected to all other mountains, to the entire crust of the earth. In the same way, your individual consciousness is not separate. At its deepest level, it is connected to all other consciousness, to the entire web of life. The feeling of being a small, vulnerable, separate self is a surface phenomenon, like a single tree on the mountain's slope. Your true identity is this vast, interconnected, and indestructible foundation. Resting in this awareness is the ultimate antidote to fear and loneliness. Now, let your awareness rise again to the surface, but with this new understanding of your own depth. Look again at the life teeming on your slopes, the forests, the rivers, the animals. From the mountain's perspective, all of this life is its own expression. The mountain is not just the rock, it is also the tree that grows from it, the eagle that soars above it, and the deer that walks its paths. They are all temporary forms that the mountain's being takes. The mountain is not sad when a great old tree finally falls in a storm, because it knows the tree will decay and become the soil that nourishes 1,000 new saplings. It understands the great cycle of life and death, and it holds it all in a vast, equanimous embrace. So it is with your own life. The different roles you play, the parent, the worker, the friend, the child, are like the different ecosystems on the mountain slopes. They are expressions of your being, but they are not the totality of it. Your personality, your beliefs, your very body, these are like the great old trees. They have their season. They grow, they flourish, and eventually they will pass away. But you, the mountain, remain. The consciousness that is looking out through your eyes is the same consciousness that looked out through the eyes of your ancestors and will look out through the eyes of beings yet to come. To know yourself as this enduring presence is to be free from the fear of personal annihilation. You are not the temporary form. You are the timeless life that takes the form. Let us consider the sounds of the mountain. Most of the time, the mountain is silent. It is a deep, resonant silence, full of presence. But it is not an empty silence. If you listen closely, you can hear the subtle sounds of its being. The whisper of wind through pine needles, the trickle of melting snow forming a tiny stream, the distant cry of a hawk, the buzz of an insect. These sounds do not disturb the mountain's silence. They are born from it, and they reveal its depth. In the same way, the stillness of your mind is not a blank emptiness. Within that stillness, subtle insights can arise. A quiet intuition, a gentle feeling of connection, a sudden, simple understanding of a complex problem. These are the whispers of your own deep wisdom, the sounds of your true nature. The practice of being the mountain is the practice of becoming quiet enough to hear these subtle inner sounds. In our noisy, busy lives, we drown them out. But as you rest in this deep, mountainous stillness, you create the space to hear the quiet voice of your own soul. The mountain also has a relationship with the sky. It looks up into the vast, infinite expanse of space. At night, it is a silent witness to the majestic procession of the stars, the galaxies, the nebulae. It sees the moon wax and wane. It watches meteors streak across the darkness. The mountain knows its own immensity, but it also knows it is just a tiny speck in an infinite cosmos. This brings a profound sense of humility and wonder. As you lie here, feel yourself as the mountain, looking up into the vast sky of your own awareness. The stars are your distant, archetypal dreams, your highest aspirations. The moon is the gentle, intuitive, feminine aspect of your being. The meteors are the fleeting, brilliant flashes of inspiration. To hold all of this in your awareness, without trying to grasp or control it, is to be in a state of awe and wonder at the mystery of your own being. It is to be free from the small, constricted world of the ego and to open up to the infinite possibilities that lie within you. The mountain is a great teacher of acceptance. It accepts everything. It accepts the gentle caress of the sun and the violent fury of the storm. It accepts the life that grows on it and the decay that returns to it. It accepts the beauty of the sunrise and the darkness of the night. It does not have preferences. It does not wish for the weather to be different than it is. Its peace comes from this radical, unconditional acceptance of reality as it unfolds, moment by moment. This is a powerful lesson for us. We spend so much of our energy resisting reality, wishing things were different. We wish our bodies were different, our past was different, other people were different. This resistance is the source of immense suffering. It is like a small bush on the mountain trying to fight against the wind. It is an exhausting and futile struggle. To be the mountain is to practice letting go of this resistance. It is to allow this moment to be exactly as it is. It is to allow your body to be as it is, your thoughts to be as they are, your feelings to be as they are. This is not a passive resignation. It is an active, courageous, and deeply peaceful embrace of the truth of the present moment. And paradoxically, it is only from this place of acceptance that true, wise change can begin. You cannot skillfully tend a garden that you refuse to look at. You cannot navigate a storm that you pretend is not happening. So, as you settle into the final stages before sleep, fully embody this mountain. Feel its rootedness in the earth, its connection to the sky. Feel its ancient patience, its unshakable stability, its profound stillness. Let the small worries and concerns of your personal life be like the tiny creatures scurrying on its surface, a part of the whole, but not the essence of it. Know that your true nature is as vast, as enduring, and as peaceful as this great mountain. There is nothing you need to do to attain this peace. You are this peace. You simply need to be still and realize it. Let the mountain hold you, let it support you, and let its deep, silent, and powerful presence be the gateway to a sleep that is not just a rest for the body, but a deep homecoming for the soul. Part 8. The Gentle River of Impermanence. You have rested as the great, still mountain, finding a sanctuary of unshakable stability within your own being. You have touched a peace that is deep, silent, and enduring. This is a profound truth, a core aspect of your nature. And yet, there is another, equally profound truth that we must embrace to find complete freedom and peace. For while the mountain represents the absolute, unchanging aspect of our being, life itself is not a mountain. Life is a river. It is a constant, gentle, and unstoppable flow of change. To resist this flow is the source of all our anxiety. To learn to flow with it is the secret of effortless grace. Imagine now that you are no longer the mountain, but a single drop of water, born from the melting snow on its high peak. You are pure, clear, and full of potential. For a moment, you rest in a small pool, reflecting the vast blue sky. But soon, the pull of gravity and the pressure of other droplets behind you urge you onward. You begin to move. You join with other drops, and together you form a tiny, trickling stream, making your way down the mountain's face. This is the beginning of your journey, the beginning of your life. The stream is small and vulnerable. It must navigate around large rocks, find its way through cracks in the earth, and push through mats of fallen leaves. These are the challenges of your childhood and youth. The moments of uncertainty, the obstacles that seemed so large at the time. As a stream, you do not fight the rocks. You do not try to smash your way through them. You simply find the path of least resistance. You flow around them. You are soft, yielding, and adaptable. And in this softness, you find your strength. The rock is hard and brittle. It can be broken. The water is soft and fluid. It cannot be broken. It always finds its way. As you continue your journey down the mountain, other streams join you. Your small trickle grows into a rushing, energetic brook. The flow becomes stronger, more confident. This is your early adulthood. You have more energy, more momentum. You tumble over waterfalls, creating beautiful sprays of mist and rainbows in the sun. These are your moments of joy, of passion, of great accomplishment. You carve your way through the landscape, shaping the world around you as you go. But the river's journey is not always joyful and exuberant. Sometimes the riverbed widens and the flow becomes slow, sluggish, and murky. The water becomes stagnant in shallow pools. This is a time of depression, of feeling stuck, of losing your direction. You feel as though you will be trapped in this swamp forever, but the patient, persistent pressure of the water behind you, the inexorable pull of the great ocean ahead of you, eventually pushes you through. The current picks up again, the water clears, and you are flowing once more. At other times, the river is forced into a narrow, rocky gorge. The water becomes a violent, churning torrent. It crashes against the canyon walls, its roar echoing through the mountains. This is a time of great crisis, of trauma, of intense pain and struggle. It feels as though you will be dashed to pieces against the rocks. But even here, the river flows on. It does not stop. It endures the turbulence, knowing that the gorge will eventually open up into a wide, peaceful valley. And when it does, the river is deeper and more powerful for having passed through the narrows. This is the nature of impermanence, the great Buddhist teaching of anicca. Everything is in flow. Nothing is static. Your thoughts, your feelings, your body, your relationships, your worldly situation, they are all like the water of the river, constantly moving, constantly changing. We suffer because we try to build dams in the river. We try to hold on to the pleasant moments, to freeze the river at a beautiful waterfall. We build a dam of clinging and attachment, saying, "I want it to be like this forever." But the pressure of the river of life builds up behind the dam, and eventually it will break, causing a flood of suffering and disappointment. We also build dams to block the unpleasant moments. When the river enters a dark and frightening gorge, we build a dam of aversion and resistance, saying, "I don't want this. Make it stop." We try to push the river back, to deny its reality, but the river cannot be stopped. Our resistance only creates more turbulence, more struggle, more pain. We exhaust ourselves, fighting a battle we can never win. The path to peace is to become the river itself. It is to let go of the dams and to trust in the flow. It is to realize that you are not a separate entity that is being carried along by the river. You are the river. Your very nature is change, is flow. As you lie here, feel your own life as this river. Feel the memories of your past, not as fixed, solid events, but as places the river has already passed through. The beautiful meadows, the dark gorges, they are behind you now. You can learn from them, you can remember their lessons, but you cannot go back to them. To constantly look backward is to try to make the river flow uphill. It is an impossible struggle. Let them go. Let the river flow on. Feel the present moment as the current section of the river you are now inhabiting. What is it like? Is it calm and wide? Is it fast and narrow? Is it clear or murky? Whatever its quality, your practice is to be fully present with it, without resistance. If it is a peaceful stretch, enjoy it fully, but with the light touch of non-attachment. Know that this too will change. Savor the warmth of the sun on your surface, but do not try to hold on to the sun. If it is a turbulent stretch, the practice is to stay soft and fluid. Do not tense up against the rocks. Allow the current to carry you. Trust that this gorge too will eventually end. Your safety lies not in fighting the current, but in moving with it. And what of the future? The future is the part of the river that is downstream, around the bend, out of sight. We spend so much of our energy worrying about what is around the bend. We create detailed maps of where we think the river should go. We are filled with anxiety that it might lead to a dangerous waterfall or a stagnant swamp. We try to steer the river from a great distance, an act of pure imagination that creates immense tension. The wisdom of the river is to let go of this need to control the future. The river does not worry about the next bend. It simply meets the next bend when it arrives. It trusts in its own nature to navigate whatever it finds. This is not passivity. It is a profound and active trust in the unfolding of life. It is the understanding that the best way to prepare for the future is to be fully present in the now. A river that is flowing with its full energy in this moment is best equipped to handle whatever comes next. As the river flows out of the mountains, it enters the Great Plains. It becomes wider, deeper, and slower. Its journey is less dramatic now, but it has a quiet, mature strength. It nourishes the land on either side. Great trees grow on its banks. Animals come to drink from its waters. Entire cities are built around it. This is your life of service, of contribution, of nurturing others. The river does not do this out of a sense of duty. It is simply its nature to give, to support life, as it continues its inexorable journey. Finally, after its long and winding journey, the river can sense something new on the horizon. It can smell the salt in the air. It can hear a distant, rhythmic roar. It is approaching the great ocean. This is the end of the river's journey as a river. It is the great mystery of death. For a drop of water that thinks of itself as a separate, individual river, this can be a moment of great fear. It is the fear of annihilation, of losing its identity. I will be no more. But for a drop of water that understands its true nature, it is a moment of joyous homecoming. It is not an end, but a transformation. It is a returning to the source. The drop of water dissolves into the vast, boundless ocean, and in doing so, it becomes the ocean. Its small, limited identity is released into a boundless, timeless existence. It is not lost, it is found. It is not dying, it is returning home. To live with an awareness of the ocean is to live without fear. It is to know that your small, individual life is part of something infinitely larger. It is to trust that the river of your life knows exactly where it is going. It is flowing, in its own perfect time and in its own perfect way, back to the ocean of pure being. As you prepare for sleep, let yourself dissolve into this gentle, flowing river of impermanence. Let go of all your fixed positions, your rigid beliefs, your desperate attachments. Let go of the person you think you are and become the process of life itself. Feel the gentle current of your breath as the current of the river, carrying you forward, moment by moment. If there is pain in your body, let it be a rock in the river. Let the flow of your breath wash over it, around it, softening its edges. If there is sadness in your heart, let it be a deep, slow-moving pool. Rest in it, allow it, and trust that the current will eventually carry you through to clearer waters. If there is joy, let it be a sparkling, sunlit rapid. Dance in it, celebrate it, and let it go without clinging. Sleep itself is a small taste of dissolving into the ocean. Each night, we let go of our ego, our identity, our story. We release ourselves into a vast, mysterious, and unconscious state. We trust that we will be held, that we will be restored, and that the river of our consciousness will begin to flow again in the morning. So, let go now. Surrender to the flow. You do not need to hold on. You do not need to steer. The river knows the way. It is carrying you, with infinite gentleness and perfect wisdom, toward the great, peaceful ocean of deep and restorative sleep. Flow with it, and be at peace. Let us wade a little deeper into this river to feel its currents more intimately. The teaching of impermanence is not a sad or nihilistic philosophy. It is not saying that life is meaningless because everything disappears. On the contrary, it is saying that life is precious because it is fleeting. The beauty of a cherry blossom is not diminished by the fact that it will fall in a week. Its beauty is intensified by its brief, brilliant existence. To understand impermanence is to learn to love the world as it is, in its constant, dynamic unfolding. Think of the relationships in your life. We often treat them like solid structures, like houses we have built on the riverbank. We want them to be permanent, predictable, and unchanging. And when they change, when a friend moves away, when a child grows up and leaves home, when a partner's feelings evolve, we feel as though our house has been swept away by a flood. We suffer deeply. But what if we saw our relationships not as houses, but as a dance of two rivers flowing side by side for a time? Sometimes the currents are in harmony, and the dance is graceful and effortless. At other times the currents clash, creating eddies and whirlpools of conflict. And sometimes the rivers naturally diverge, each following its own path toward the great ocean. To see relationships this way is to hold them with an open hand. You can cherish the moments of harmonious flow, you can learn from the moments of turbulence, and you can bless the other river on its journey when your paths diverge. It is a love that is free from the anxiety of possession. It is a love that honors the freedom and the ever-changing nature of both yourself and the other. It replaces the fear of loss with a deep gratitude for the time that the rivers were able to flow together. Consider your own body. We often treat it like a statue that we are trying to preserve, fighting against every wrinkle, every ache, every sign of aging. We are in a constant battle with the impermanent nature of our physical form. But the body is not a statue. It is a river. It is a river of cells, of sensations, of energy, in constant flux. The body you have now is not the same body you had 7 years ago. Every cell has been replaced. You are literally a new person. To befriend the impermanence of your body is to treat it not as an object to be perfected, but as a living, changing process to be cared for. It is to listen to its changing needs, to honor its cycles of energy and rest, and to meet its aging with grace and wisdom rather than fear and resistance. It is to inhabit your body with a gentle, appreciative presence, knowing that it is a precious, temporary vessel for your journey. As you lie here, feel the river of your body. Feel the blood flowing in your veins, the air moving in your lungs, the subtle currents of energy that animate you. You are not a solid thing. You are a process, a flow, a dance of life. And what of your mind, your personality, your sense of self? We cling so tightly to our identity. We build a solid story of who we are, made up of our memories, our beliefs, our likes and dislikes. I am this kind of person. I am not that kind of person. This solid self is the dam we spend our whole lives defending. But this self, too, is a river. Your beliefs have changed over time. Your feelings are different from one moment to the next. Your very sense of who you are is a constantly shifting current of thoughts and perceptions. To realize this is to be free. You are not trapped in the story of your past. You are not defined by your mistakes or your successes. You are the flowing, creative, ever-changing river of consciousness itself. You can let go of old, limiting identities and allow new, wiser aspects of yourself to emerge. You are not a noun, you are a verb. You are not a thing, you are a happening. To rest in this understanding is to feel an immense lightness and freedom. There is no fixed self to defend, no fragile ego to protect. There is only the gentle, creative flow of being. This understanding of impermanence is not just a philosophical idea. It is a practical guide to living with less stress. When you are caught in a difficult situation at work, you can remember, this is a river. It is flowing. It will not be like this forever. This brings a sense of perspective and patience. When you are experiencing a moment of intense physical pain, you can observe it as a current of sensation, rising and falling, changing from moment to moment. By seeing its fluid, impermanent nature, you stop tensing against it, and often the suffering is reduced. When you are gripped by a powerful emotion like anxiety, you can watch it as a weather pattern on the river's surface, knowing that it, too, will pass. You do not have to become the anxiety. You can remain as the deep, steady current of awareness, watching the storm on the surface come and go. The river teaches us the wisdom of letting go. Every moment, the river is letting go of the place it has just been. It does not cling to the shady bank or the sunny patch. It releases the past in order to be fully present for the now. As you lie here, what can you let go of? Can you let go of the day that has just passed? All its triumphs and failures, all its joys and sorrows. It is gone. The river has moved on. Can you release it and allow yourself to be here in the fresh, new waters of this present moment? Can you let go of your plans for tomorrow? The lists, the expectations, the worries. They are a place the river has not yet reached. To be there in your mind is to miss the beauty of where you are right now. Let tomorrow go. Trust that the river will carry you there when the time is right. For now, simply be here. This continuous act of letting go is the essence of relaxation. Every muscle that you soften, every worry that you release, is an act of joining the flow. It is a surrender to the natural, effortless wisdom of the river. You are allowing life to carry you, rather than trying to carry the whole weight of life on your own shoulders. So feel yourself now as this great, wise river. You hold the memory of the high mountain peaks where you were born. You hold the experience of the meadows and the gorges you have passed through. You are flowing with a quiet, confident strength, nourishing the world as you go. And you feel the gentle, irresistible pull of the great ocean, your true home, the place of ultimate peace and boundless being. There is no fear. There is only a sense of rightness, of purpose, of coming home. Let this be your final meditation as you drift into sleep. You are not a struggling swimmer fighting the current. You are the current. You are the river. And you are flowing, peacefully and perfectly, into the vast, silent ocean of rest. Part 9. The Deep Well of Silence. We have journeyed as a flowing river, learning to embrace the gentle, constant current of change. We have found a graceful peace in moving with life, rather than resisting it. Now, as our journey nears its end, as the river approaches the vast ocean, the current begins to slow. The water becomes deeper, clearer, and profoundly still. We are entering the realm of silence, not just the absence of noise, but a deep, resonant silence that is the very source of our being. It is the sanctuary in its purest form. Imagine that in the quietest, most secluded part of your inner garden, there is an old stone well. It is ancient, covered in soft green moss. You may not have noticed it before, as your attention was on the flowers and the weeds, the dynamic, changing aspects of your inner world. But tonight, you are drawn to it. You approach it with a sense of reverence and curiosity. This is the well of deep silence. You peer over the stone edge and look down. You cannot see the bottom. It is a darkness that is not frightening but inviting. It is a deep, velvety black that seems to absorb all the scattered light of your restless mind. You can feel a profound stillness rising up from its depths, a coolness that soothes your tired spirit. This well is the source of all the water that nourishes your inner garden. The clear spring of your creativity, the still pond of your equanimity, they are all fed by this one deep, inexhaustible source. In our modern world, we are often afraid of silence. We fill every moment with noise, with music, with podcasts, with the endless chatter of our own thoughts. Silence can feel empty, awkward, even threatening. It is in the silence that we might hear the things we don't want to hear, our own loneliness, our own unresolved sorrows. So we keep the noise going, a constant distraction from our own depths. But the silence of this well is not an empty silence. It is a full silence. It is a silence that is pregnant with peace, with wisdom, with a sense of profound connection to all things. It is the silence that existed before the Big Bang, the silence from which all creation emerged. It is the silence that holds the entire universe in its vast, loving embrace. And this silence is not somewhere far away, it is at the very center of your own being. Let us descend into this well. Imagine there is a rope, and you begin to lower yourself down, slowly and gently. The first few feet of the descent are still connected to the world of sound. You can still hear the faint, distant echoes of your day, the conversations, the worries, the plans. These are the surface-level noises of the mind. As you go deeper, they begin to fade. Their urgency diminishes. They become like the muffled sounds of a distant city heard from a quiet hilltop. You continue to descend, and you enter a new layer. Here, you become aware of the more subtle sounds of your inner world, the steady, rhythmic beat of your own heart, the soft, oceanic whisper of your own breath. These are the sounds of your own life, the background music of your existence. For a while, you rest here, listening to this intimate symphony. It is a comforting, grounding sound. It is the sound of your own aliveness. But the well goes deeper still. You let go a little more, and you descend beyond the sound of your own body. You are entering a realm of pure, profound silence. The silence is so deep that it feels like a physical presence. It is like sinking into a vast, soft cushion. It holds you, supports you, envelops you. All the tension in your body and mind begins to dissolve into this silence. It is a healing balm, a universal solvent for all your anxieties and fears. What is this silence made of? It is the silence of pure awareness. It is the consciousness that is aware of all your thoughts, feelings, and sensations, but is itself none of those things. It is the screen on which the movie of your life is playing. We are usually so absorbed in the movie that we forget all about the screen. But the screen is always there, silent, stable, and unaffected by the drama, the comedy, or the tragedy that is playing upon it. To sink into this deep well is to become aware of the screen itself. It is to realize your identity not as a character in the movie, but as the silent, aware space in which the movie is happening. In this deep silence, you are utterly alone. And yet, you are profoundly connected to everything. You are alone with your own true nature, stripped of all your roles, your stories, your personality. And in this nakedness, you discover a connection to all of life that transcends personality. You are connected to the silence in the heart of the tree outside your window. You are connected to the silence of the deep ocean. You are connected to the vast, silent spaces between the stars. You realize that the same silent awareness that is looking out through your eyes is the same silent awareness that is looking out through every pair of eyes in the universe. The separation between self and other dissolves. There is only one silence, one awareness, wearing countless different masks. This deep well is also the source of all true wisdom. The mind, with its endless thinking, can solve practical problems, but it cannot access the deeper truths of existence. True wisdom does not come from thinking more. It comes from becoming quiet enough to hear the silent knowing that is already within you. In the depths of this well, the answers to your deepest questions are not found in words, but in a direct, intuitive feeling of clarity and peace. The path forward in your life becomes clear, not because you have figured it out, but because you have rested in the silence and allowed your own inner compass to reveal itself. This silence is also the ultimate source of healing. The body and mind have an innate capacity to heal themselves, but this capacity is often blocked by our chronic stress and mental agitation. When you sink into the deep well of silence, you are creating the optimal conditions for this natural healing to occur. You are stepping out of the way and allowing the deep, restorative intelligence of life to do its work. It is like putting a fractured bone in a cast. The cast does not heal the bone. It simply holds it still, so that the bone's own healing power can function without interference. The silence is the cast for your soul. It holds you in a state of profound rest, allowing the fragmented parts of yourself to knit back together, to become whole again. As you rest here, at the bottom of the well, you are floating in this ocean of silence. There is no up or down, no before or after. There is only the timeless, peaceful present. This is the state of being that the mystics and sages of all traditions have spoken of. It is nirvana. It is the kingdom of heaven. It is the Tao. It has many names, but it has no name. It is beyond all concepts. It can only be experienced. And it is your birthright. It is the most natural state of your being. You do not need to strive to reach this place. You are already in it. Your journey into the well is not a journey to a different location. It is a journey of subtraction. You are simply letting go of all the layers of noise and distraction that have been obscuring the silence that is already here. You are letting go of your thoughts. You are letting go of your feelings. You are letting go of your sense of a separate self. And what is left when you have let go of everything that can be let go of? Only this vast, silent, peaceful and loving awareness. This is who you truly are. Let this silence be your final refuge as you drift into sleep. Let it be the soft, dark water that holds you and rocks you gently. Let it wash away the last remaining traces of the day. Let it cleanse your mind and purify your heart. If a thought arises, imagine it as a single bubble, rising up from the depths of the well and popping on the surface, disappearing back into the silence. If a feeling arises, let it be a gentle current in the water, a temporary movement that does not disturb the vast stillness of the well itself. Know that this well is always within you. No matter how noisy and chaotic your life becomes on the surface, you can always return to this deep, inner source of peace. A few conscious breaths, a moment of turning your attention inward, is all it takes to begin the descent. This well is your greatest treasure. It is a source of strength, wisdom, and healing that can never be taken away from you. So rest now in the deep, dark, silent, and loving embrace of your own true nature. There is nothing more to do, nothing more to understand. Simply be. Be the silence, be the peace, and let this profound stillness carry you into the most restorative and healing sleep you have ever known. Dissolve into the silence and be free. Let us remain at the bottom of this well, floating in its profound and healing silence. Let us explore its qualities more deeply, for this silence is not a uniform, monolithic thing. It has textures, nuances, and depths that reveal themselves to the patient and receptive heart. At first, the silence might feel like a simple absence of sound. It is a relief, a respite from the constant bombardment of noise, both external and internal. This is the first layer, the gateway. It is the silence of cessation. But as you rest in it, allowing your awareness to become more subtle and refined, you begin to perceive something more. You begin to notice that this silence is not empty. It is alive. It has a subtle vibration, a low, gentle hum, like the sound of the universe breathing. This is the Om, the primordial sound from which all other sounds are born. It is not a sound that you hear with your ears, but a vibration that you feel with your entire being. It is the sound of pure existence, the background hum of reality itself. To tune into this vibration is to align yourself with the fundamental harmony of the cosmos. It is to feel your own small, individual rhythm dissolving into the great universal rhythm. This is a silence that is not static, but deeply, peacefully alive. As you float in this living silence, you may also become aware of its immense holding capacity. It is like a vast, loving presence that can hold all of your experiences without judgment. Bring to mind a memory that carries a charge of shame or regret. In the noisy world of the ego mind, this memory is painful. We push it away, we condemn ourselves for it. But here, in the deep well of silence, you can offer this memory up. Imagine placing it gently into the dark, still water. The silence does not judge. It does not condemn. It simply holds the memory in its vast, compassionate embrace. It surrounds the painful energy with its own profound peace. And in this holding, the charge of the memory begins to neutralize. The sharp edges soften. The story loses its power over you. The silence is a space of unconditional love, a space where all the fragmented, exiled parts of yourself can finally come home to be healed and integrated. This silence is also a great teacher of simplicity. The mind loves complexity. It loves to create intricate stories, elaborate plans, and convoluted philosophical systems. But the truth is always simple. As you rest in the silence, you begin to see through the unnecessary complexity of your own thinking. You see how you have tied yourself in knots with your own stories and beliefs. The silence gently unties these knots. It shows you that peace is not found by adding more knowledge or achieving a more complicated understanding. Peace is found by subtracting, by letting go, by returning to the simple, direct, undeniable truth of your own being, right here, right now. The silence cuts through all the noise and reveals the elegant, simple truth that is always present. Furthermore, this deep well of silence is the fountainhead of creativity. We often think that creativity comes from a busy, active mind, from brainstorming and effort. And that is one kind of creativity. But the deepest, most original insights, the most profound works of art, music, and literature are born from silence. They emerge from this deep well. When the conscious mind gets out of the way, when the incessant chatter stops, a space is created for something new and unexpected to arise. A great artist, a brilliant scientist, a visionary leader, they all know how to access this inner well. They know how to become quiet enough to receive the inspiration that is always waiting in the depths. As you rest here, you are not just resting. You are opening yourself to your own deepest creative potential. You are allowing the seeds of new ideas, new solutions, and new ways of being to germinate in the fertile darkness. There is also a profound quality of safety in this silence. The world can feel like a dangerous and unpredictable place. The ego mind is in a constant state of alert, scanning for threats, preparing for the worst. This creates a chronic, low-level state of anxiety. But when you descend into the well of silence, you enter a realm that is beyond all threat. Nothing can harm this deep, silent awareness. It cannot be burned by fire, nor drowned by water, nor cut by a sword. It is indestructible. It is your ultimate refuge. To know this, not just as an idea, but as a felt experience, is to be liberated from the deepest fears of the ego. You can walk through the world with a new sense of courage and ease, knowing that your true essence is always safe, always secure in this inner sanctuary. As you continue to float in this silence, you may notice that your sense of time begins to dissolve. In the world of the mind, we live on a strict timeline of past, present, and future. But in the deep well of being, there is only the eternal now. The past is a memory held in the silence. The future is a potential held in the silence. But the silence itself is timeless. To rest here is to step out of the relentless stream of time and to enter the ocean of eternity. This is profoundly restorative. It is a release from the pressure of deadlines, the regret of yesterday, and the anxiety of tomorrow. You are free to simply be in this one, timeless, perfect moment. This silence is not a withdrawal from life, but a deeper engagement with it. When you emerge from the well, you bring a measure of its peace and clarity back with you into the world of form and sound. You find that you can listen to others more deeply without the constant interruption of your own inner commentary. You can see the world with fresh eyes, noticing the beauty in small things that you were previously too busy to see. You can act in the world from a place of calm, intuitive wisdom, rather than from a place of reactive fear. The silence does not remove you from the world. It allows you to participate in it more fully, more lovingly, and more effectively. So, let this be your final resting place for the night. Do not try to hold on to the silence. Do not try to analyze it or understand it. Simply surrender to it. Let it hold you, let it heal you, let it teach you. It is your mother, your father, your truest friend, your innermost self. It is the loving darkness of the womb from which you were born, and to which you will one day return. It is the peace that passes all understanding. Allow yourself to merge with it completely. Let the boundaries of your body dissolve. Let the last vestiges of your ego fade away. Become one with the vast, living, intelligent, and profoundly peaceful silence that is the heart of all that is. There is no greater rest than this. Part 10. Returning home to stillness. Our long journey through the landscapes of the mind is drawing to a gentle close. We began in the noisy marketplace of the restless mind, feeling the anxiety of its endless chatter and the turmoil of its stormy seas. We sought a refuge, a sanctuary from the chaos. And so, we began a journey inward. We found the first gate, the simple, humble anchor of the breath, which held us steady in the present moment. From that place of stability, we learned to rest as the vast, open sky, watching the clouds of thought and emotion drift by without being swept away by them. We realized that our true nature is not the fleeting weather of the mind, but the boundless, peaceful sky in which it all happens. Then, we opened our senses and stepped into the rich, vibrant garden of the present moment, grounding ourselves in the simple, profound reality of what is here and now. We heard the parable of the empty boat, and it taught us to release our anger and resentment, to stop taking the world so personally, and to see the actions of others through the compassionate lens of understanding. With this newfound space in our hearts, we began the sacred work of tending our inner garden. We gently removed the weeds of our habitual negative patterns and planted the beautiful, life-affirming seeds of loving kindness, compassion, joy, and equanimity. We learned that peace is not just something to be found, but something to be actively cultivated. From the dynamic world of the garden, we shifted our perspective and embodied the great, still mountain. We touched an unshakable stability, a deep, silent patience that is at the very core of our being. We realized that no matter how fierce the storms on the surface of our lives may be, this inner mountain remains untouched, unmoved. Then we let go of even that solid form and became the gentle, flowing river of impermanence. We learned to embrace the ever-changing nature of life, to let go of our resistance and our attachments, and to find a graceful ease in moving with the current, trusting that it is carrying us always toward the great ocean of our true home. And finally, we descended into the deep, silent well at the center of our being. We dissolved into the profound, healing silence that is the source of all peace, all wisdom, and all creation. We touched the very ground of our existence, a place beyond thought, beyond time, beyond self. And now, where have we arrived? After all this journeying, after all these metaphors and practices, what is the final destination? The beautiful and liberating truth is that we have arrived exactly where we started. We are here, in this bed, in this room, in this present moment. The journey was not about getting somewhere else. The journey was about realizing the profound peace and sanctity of the place we have never, for an instant, left. The sanctuary is not a distant mountaintop or a hidden garden that you must struggle to reach. The stillness is not a prize to be won after years of effort. It is the very nature of this moment, right now. The journey was simply a process of removing the layers of noise and distraction that were preventing you from seeing what is already here. Think of it this way. Imagine you are holding a beautiful, flawless crystal in your hand. But over the years, your hand has become covered in mud. You have become so accustomed to the feeling of the mud, its weight, its grit, its messiness, that you have forgotten all about the crystal. You believe you are the muddy hand. You go searching for a crystal, not realizing you are already holding it. The practices we have explored tonight are like gently washing your hand. The practice of watching the breath is like the first trickle of clean water, washing away the outermost layer of grime. The practice of observing thoughts as clouds is like gently rubbing away the more stubborn patches of dirt. Each practice is a cleansing, a clarification, and as the mud is washed away, you begin to feel something smooth and solid underneath. You begin to catch glimpses of a sparkling light. And finally, when the hand is clean, you look down and you see it. The crystal has been there all along, perfect and radiant. You did not create it. You did not find it somewhere else. You simply revealed its ever-present reality. So it is with your inner stillness. It is the crystal in your hand. Your true nature is already peaceful, already whole, already complete. The mud is the restless mind, the conditioned habits, the mistaken identity of the ego. The spiritual path is not a path of acquisition, but a path of remembrance. It is a process of remembering who you truly are, beneath all the layers of conditioning. As you lie here now, on the threshold of sleep, let this be your final understanding. You do not need to hold on to any of these images, the mountain, the river, the garden. They were simply fingers pointing to the moon. Now that you have seen the moon, you can let go of the finger. The moon is the simple, direct, and profound stillness of your own awareness, right here, right now. Feel it. It is in the quiet space between your thoughts. It is in the gentle pause between your breaths. It is in the deep, silent presence of your body at rest. It is not a dramatic or exotic state. It is the most ordinary, most simple, and most natural thing in the world. It is the feeling of being truly home. Home is not a place. It is this state of relaxed, open, and peaceful presence. You can be at home anywhere in the world, in any circumstance, when you are connected to this inner stillness. And you can feel like a homeless wanderer, even in the most luxurious palace, when you are disconnected from it. The great gift of this journey is the knowledge that you now know the way home. Whenever you feel lost in the noise of the world, whenever you are caught in the storms of your own mind, you now have the map. You know you can always return to the anchor of your breath. You know you can always remember that you are the sky, not the clouds. You know you can always find refuge in the simple sensations of your body. You know the way back to the stillness. And the more often you make this journey, the easier it becomes. The path becomes well worn. At first, it may be a faint trail in the wilderness of your mind, but with each return, it becomes a clearer, wider road. Eventually, you find that you are living from this place of stillness, rather than just visiting it. It becomes the ground on which you walk, the air that you breathe. Let go now of all effort. Let go of the idea that you are a seeker trying to find peace. You are not the seeker. You are the peace that is being sought. You can rest. You can lay down the heavy burden of self-improvement. You are already whole. There is nothing to fix. Imagine that your entire being is a vast, quiet lake at night. The journey is over. The boats are all moored. The winds have died down. The surface of the lake is like a perfect, dark mirror, reflecting the light of a billion distant stars. Each star is a moment of your life, a memory, a dream. But you are not the stars. You are the vast, silent, and deep water that holds and reflects them all, without being disturbed. This is your true nature. This is the sanctuary. It is not a place you have built, but a reality you have uncovered. It is the peace that was here before your first breath, and it is the peace that will be here after your last. It is your timeless, eternal home. So, welcome home. Welcome back to the stillness that you are. Rest in this homecoming. Let it be the final, gentle wave that carries you across the threshold into a deep, peaceful, and profoundly restorative sleep. You are safe. You are whole. You are home. Rest now. Rest in the stillness. Rest in the peace that you are. Let us linger in this feeling of homecoming, for it is the most precious and healing experience a human being can have. What does it truly mean to be home in this way? It means the end of the search. For our entire lives, we are driven by a subtle, pervasive sense of lack, a feeling that something is missing. We search for it in relationships, in careers, in possessions, in experiences. We believe that if we can just find the right person, achieve the right goal, or attain the right state of mind, then we will finally feel complete. We will finally be home. But this external search is endless, because the thing we are searching for is not outside of us. The feeling of completeness we long for is the feeling of our own true nature. It is this very stillness, this simple, open, aware presence that is here right now. To realize this is to have the search come to an end. It is not an end born of resignation or failure, but an end born of fulfillment. You have found the treasure you were seeking, and you have found it in the last place you thought to look, right where you already are. Feel the profound relaxation that comes with this realization. The striving can cease. The constant pressure to become better, smarter, more enlightened can dissolve. You can let go of the exhausting project of being me, with all its ambitions and insecurities. You are already that which you were striving to become. You are already whole. To simply rest in this wholeness is the deepest form of meditation. It is the practice of non-practice, the action of non-action. This homecoming also transforms your relationship with the world. When you are no longer searching for something from the world to complete you, you are free to love the world for what it is. You can engage with people and situations not from a place of need, but from a place of fullness. You can give freely, without expecting anything in return, because you are already full. Your actions are no longer driven by the anxious ego, but by the quiet, compassionate wisdom that arises from this inner stillness. You become a source of peace for others, not by preaching or teaching, but simply by embodying this sense of being at home in yourself. People feel it. They are calmed by your presence, because your presence reminds them of the home that is within them too. Let this feeling of homecoming permeate every cell of your body. Your body has been your faithful companion on this entire journey. It has carried your joys and your sorrows. It has held the tension of your fears and the lightness of your laughter. Now, you can offer it this gift of profound rest. Let every muscle, every fiber, every organ know that the search is over. It can finally let go of its chronic state of alert, its readiness to fight or flee. It can sink into a state of deep, cellular trust. Trust in this moment. Trust in this stillness. Trust in the benevolent presence that is holding you. Imagine this stillness as a soft, warm, golden light that is radiating from the very center of your being. Let this light spread gently outward, filling your entire torso, flowing down into your legs and feet, and rising up into your arms, your neck, and your head. Your entire body is now luminous with this light of peace. It is a light that heals, that soothes, that restores. It is the light of your own awakened heart, your own true nature. You are not just a body resting in a bed. You are a being of light, resting in an ocean of peace. And what of the mind? The mind that was once a noisy marketplace is now a quiet, empty temple at midnight. The merchants have all gone home. The stalls are empty. The only light is the soft, gentle glow of the moon, the light of pure awareness shining through the open doors. The only sound is the sound of silence itself. The mind has not been destroyed or suppressed. It has simply come to rest. It has returned to its natural state, which is clear, open, and still. It has become a perfect servant to the heart, a tool to be used with wisdom and precision when needed, and to be set down in perfect stillness when not. In this final, quiet space, a deep sense of gratitude may naturally arise. Gratitude for this body, this precious vehicle for our journey. Gratitude for this breath, our constant, faithful anchor. Gratitude for this mind, with its capacity to know and to understand. Gratitude for all the joys and all the sorrows of our life. For every experience has been a teacher, every challenge a guidepost pointing us back home. Gratitude for this very moment, this sacred opportunity to rest, to heal, and to remember who we truly are. Let this feeling of gentle, heartfelt gratitude be the final fragrance in the air of your inner sanctuary. The journey we have taken tonight is a microcosm of the journey of a lifetime. Each day, we awaken from the small ocean of sleep and emerge into the flowing river of our daily activities. We encounter the mountains of challenge and the gardens of joy. We get lost in the noisy marketplace of our thoughts and bumped by the empty boats of others. And each night, we have the opportunity to make this journey home again. To let go of the day, release our attachments and our aversions, and to sink back into the deep, silent well of our own being. Sleep, in this way, becomes a sacred practice. It is not just a biological necessity, it is a spiritual surrender. It is a nightly rehearsal for the great surrender at the end of our lives. Each night, we practice letting go of our ego, our control, our very identity. We trust in the vast, mysterious intelligence that will hold us in the darkness and, if we are fortunate, grant us the grace of a new day. To fall asleep in this conscious, trusting, and grateful way is to transform the very nature of rest. It becomes a profound act of healing and renewal for the body, the mind, and the soul. So, as these words come to an end, let the journey be complete. You have returned. You are home. The crystal is shining in your clean hand. The lake is perfectly still, reflecting the stars. The temple of your mind is quiet and filled with a soft, peaceful light. There is nothing left to do. There is nothing left to figure out. There is only this. This simple, profound, and peaceful stillness. Let go of the words. Let go of the images. Let go of the storyteller, and simply be. Be the stillness. Be the peace. Be the silent, loving awareness that is your true and eternal home. Allow this awareness to be the gentle, invisible current that carries you now across the final threshold into the boundless, dreamless, and deeply restorative ocean of sleep. Good night. Rest well. You are home.